It's Friday, January 9th, 2026. Let's start off, as we typically do, by reminding you, if you'd like to support our show, you can go to supportourshow.com. We got no complaints about me noodling around on the synth, I want to point out. I got positive comments on that show, but nobody said a word about the synth. In fact, we got very good feedback on it. Not on my synth playing, which is shitty, but nobody said, hey, you were really good on the keys, but nobody complained.
What did we get compliments over? I'm always confused.
Would you like me to read them? Hold on. I actually have, not intentionally, I was on Patreon uploading our latest commentary for June of 2028, and it so happened. Let me go back to the dashboard. From an individual who I believe is in Australia, older gentleman. I won't give his age away, but he's older than us.
You guys suck hard.
No. Where? Hold on. I know it was in... I don't know why Patreon does not have its messaging stuff down. Where did it go? I know I got it. Because it was actually 2 comments, and they were very nice. Oh, you know why? I know it. It's on the other side of... Patreon divides things into creator side and member side. And so you have to look at each side to see... Yes. Depending on when it was sent. So it was sent over here. Wasn't it? Oh, fuck it. I've got it in my email. Hold on. God, I don't know why I can't find it. This is the thing that bugs me is in Patreon, it's harder to find things than what it sends me messages on, which is so weird. But I have it because I was stunned by it, honestly.
That's why I'm curious.
Oh, my God. Why is it? I get so much spam, too. This is the problem. Hold on. I'm going to do a search. I'll find it. I will find it. I'm just doing a quick search. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right. Well, while I'm looking for it, I had something to bitch about. So let me bitch about something first, then we'll go to the positive stuff. So you and I have both said that we have made an effort not to shop on Amazon, which we both make the effort as much as we can.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing I do think it is...
like Suguru. We wish we had far more Suguru than we do. Oh, yeah, and they only fucking sell it there. So anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree. Which sucks. I don't like that. In fact, it does bother me. But one thing that is good about it, as opposed to some, not all, but some brick and mortar stores, is it is still one of the places that you have a pretty liberal return policy. Where you can return.
I'll give them that. They do have an insane return.
Yeah, and so there are certain things where if I'm not really sure, I will get them there, because I just got bit by this. So I was looking for there's a line that exists if you're doing video. So you can get. So basically, there's this line between a webcam and going to DSLR. If you really want very high quality video. I am not going to set up a DSLR. I'm not. It's way overkill for how infrequently I use video. Don't get me wrong. I've been doing more of it. Like me and Doug are going to be doing another set of movies. I have at least one interview that I've been trying to set up for a long time that's going to finally happen. Like, that's all going to be on video. So I don't want to look like shit.
I'm thinking that you guys should start doing those shirtless and bring in the whole bear market.
You joke, but there probably is money to actually be made there.
I'm not even joking at this point because you two are a couple of bears, and I'm sure that somewhere out there someone's like, "Yeah, I'll watch two shirtless bears talk about movies." I know that someone right now is sitting there going, "No, don't."
Well, I mean, I would put an age restriction. You'd have to, if you opt into it, man. I mean, look, if anybody has seen Doug and I in videos, you could kind of imagine. It's not like, I don't know about Doug, but I certainly don't have anything weird underneath the shirt. I just hair. It's not like I suddenly have like two. No, what I mean is, it's not like you're going to suddenly see three nipples like forming a constellation of Orion or something. It's not, it's not strange.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to see what a person of my size looks like at my age with a shirt off. I'm not in great shape, but I also am not shorn, and I am not melting. So that's what
shorn.
You get.
Oh, that's such a good word for it. I'm definitely not shorn.
You know what? I think that's the show title. Shorn. It's a word I don't get to use often. Shorn. Just shorn. Nothing else. Just shorn. That alone will get people. What? So I was looking because I have a camera that is it's the Opal C1. It's a nice camera, but the company is apparently defunct. I think Logitech bought them. It is inconsistent in recording properly, which is a problem. The quality is fine. Plus, it's still, even if you tell it not to autofocus, clearly tries to. So there was just enough wrong with it that I was looking around to get something just slightly better. I didn't need to jump to. I'm not buying a real camera for this. I'm not.
Do you need a real camera?
No, well, that's what I'm saying is, you start getting up to that line.
Do you need an actual digital DSLR?
Well, if I was going to get it, no. The answer is no, but what I wanted.
Yeah.
So there's two problems with the C1, outside of the fact that the company is gone and who knows if it'll just stop working and then I'm going to have to get one regardless. The two things I would like that it doesn't do is it doesn't have quite enough control over the lens as much as I'd like. Just a little bit more. I don't need a camera. I'm not doing that much. I don't care about color accuracy. If the white balance, that stuff's not important to me. Now, I'm pretty sure if Ant Pruitt hears this, he'll be, wanting to put his fist through the screen. I understand that's for you, Ant. You do that
he
stuff.
I don't. But he's got a different show.
He's a professional.
Yeah.
That's why. The same way that if somebody told me that it didn't really matter if you were using a tablet or if you were, if you were using dirt to draw as opposed to a nice pen, I'd be like, well, yeah, but so I understand.
Hey,
but I'm just
what?
Not there.
Sometimes having anything to draw is worth it.
Yeah, right. And that's where I am. I don't do it enough. If there was money coming in, if I was doing it all the time, if it was a full, then I would invest.
Yeah.
But that one little bit of lack of control on the C1 was bugging me, and it doesn't do 60 frames. And I like 60 frames for video. It just has that kind of fluid quality, and I move a lot, so it would look a little bit different. I like it. It's just more. It's just twice as much information to mess with, so it's good that way. So I was looking around, and just like if you're buying a television, any of these cameras you look at, you have to decide what things they don't do well you're okay with. And so I found, and I was really reluctant because I don't like Razer as a brand, like the game company, but
they have
a lot of reviews. Fuck them. Their support's miserable. Their shit it breaks way too soon, and then you're screwed. No, I don't like Razer. I would not. I would tell anybody, listen, be ready to be on your own if your thing breaks. Simple as that. You're okay with that, do it.
My advice on Razer is simple. If you can't afford anything else, and they're what you have accessible, I've had fun with them. But Razer is where you start before you get to other interesting peripherals. Like, I had a Razer keyboard for a while. I liked it. I went on to, I do too. Keychron now. But what I mean is, it's not a bad stepping stone.
No. My biggest problem is, actually, the thing I would warn most people on is mice. Be aware that it is well documented that their mice break And you are screwed if they do. You're just out that money. So just be aware. That's all. And the Synapse software fucking blows. So if you need to turn to that.
But yeah, I hate that software.
Well, see, this is where it starts to snowball. That's what I'm saying.
I never really used because it was shit.
No.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody who buys a mouse expecting to use those features, you're going to have to use Synapse. You're going to have to hope it works. All this is a setup to. I generally avoid them, but they make a camera called a Keo Ultra Pro 4K. Now, I didn't realize how big this thing was. It literally, when I got it, is a DSLR lens cut in half.
Oh, there you go. You got a new camera. Yay.
No. I'm not done.
Okay. Never mind.
So I got it because what I wanted was, really, what I was looking for was 1080 at 60 frames. That was the important part. And because it was a real lens, it could do actual adjustments without having to fake them in software, which generally, when you do them in software, a lot of times they work, but they can start to react to things. And that's where you see it with people, where the camera's kind of trying to think for you, which I don't like. I'd rather just be able to say everything manual, set it to where I want it, and use it, right? So I get the camera, and Synapse is not available for the Mac, which actually to me was a plus. But I knew there was a piece of software that I could get that would control the camera. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't really want Synapse anyway. And if this software can control it, great. Set the thing up, do some testing with it. Image quality is really good. It does all the stuff I want. And so I did a test with it where I was actually, there was like a user group, and I joined it with video on just to see how the camera would do, like real world testing. I didn't want to test it with me and Doug where we're recording and we're actually doing something. I wanted to test it where something that doesn't matter if my video is flaking out. And 1080 30, no problem. I went to 4K 30, seemed okay. The minute I turned on 60 frames, it started freezing up. Consistently freezing. Which is one of the only reasons I bought the thing, was for 60 frames. Everything else, the C1 that I have, basically does. So then I was like, okay, maybe because I knew that they had a beta version of Synapse, so I thought, well, maybe it's because the software is missing. So let me update the firmware, go through all the steps, did all that, didn't change a thing, would just randomly freeze. And then I went on to Reddit. And when I got to Reddit, I had looked for problems with it, and the problems everybody were having with it were not problems that would apply to me. But I missed that this was a known issue. And I was pissed. I was nuclear pissed for about 10 minutes because this thing otherwise I really liked. Yeah. But one of the core reasons I bought it can't do it, even though it's an advertised feature. And the thing is, it's not Mac specific because people on Windows with Synapse are having the same problem. Now, if I bought that at a brick and mortar store and brought it back as Open Electronics, would they have taken it back? I don't know. Amazon, 5 minutes. Yeah. Well, or they would have open box charged me, which I think is not correct when something's defective. Yeah. But then what they probably would have said is, okay, you're going to have to document that you were on the phone with support. You would have to do all these steps. Yeah. Right? All this stuff would have taken me a week to do all of it and then return it. Whereas on Amazon, I just said, this thing does not work. It's a documented problem. Here's the Reddit link with other people complaining and returning. And they were like, no problem, refund. And the thing was in the mail the next day on the way back. So, again, it's one of those cases where know what the return policy is on what you're buying. A lot of people don't think about that properly. So I'm not saying go to Amazon. I'm saying that if you're going to buy it in a store.
But it's the whole with Amazon, you know what you can get away with. If the thing goes south on you, you can be like, well, I know I can return it.
I have a big problem with open box fees if something isn't working. That's my problem. And they don't care about that. They'll say, no, you opened it. It's open box. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's broken. Yeah.
And you can't just, it's not defective where you can give me another one and it'll work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I mean, like, I've had stuff like that. I've had Amazon be more harsh than, like, I wanted them to be. Because remember, they have the handcrafted area, where you can get stuff that people make.
That's tricky always. That's a tricky one.
And this is years ago this happened, when I was still living in Vermont. But there was a ring that I got, and the ring when I got it did not look like the picture, right? And I said to the guy, I was like, "Hey man, this doesn't look like the thing." And he was like, and he got very rude very quickly and was like, "No, you're looking at it wrong." I always love that. You're looking at it wrong. That's exactly what it was. And I was like, okay. I tried to be nice, and I went to Amazon. Amazon gave me my money back, right? Mm-hmm. And then when I contacted them to be like, well, where should I send the ring? They said to me, do not send it back. And I was like, what? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, don't send it back. They're like, if you want, throw it out. We don't care. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, what did this guy do on his end?
No, it's actually because it's probably nothing to do with that. It's more money for them to take it back, and they will end up throwing it out in many cases. Because they actually I don't know if they've done this for you yet, because there was something I went to return it, and they said, well, what if we take 15% off? Will you keep it then? And I'm like, no, it doesn't work. I only return things when they don't work.
Yeah, no, I do I think the problem is a lot of people will buy and return so readily that they're trying to hamper it a little bit. Whereas I, like I said, I don't do a lot of business with them anymore. I do next to no business if I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of my whole point, was to just get away from them.
I'm the same way.
But yeah, it's...
I buy direct from companies when I can.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, if I bought this from Razer's store...
Oh, you'd have been fucked.
And that's what I'm saying is...
You would have been
You and I both agree and would encourage people to shop local if possible, shop directly if possible, but don't forget to check on the return, especially if you're spending a good amount of money. That camera I bought was $400. If I had not been able to return it, I would have been livid. So, be aware of the return policies. Now, and the thing that really irritates me is I liked the camera. I would have kept it if it just did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, the one feature you
wanted. And it did. Yes. So, crappy. I did find the feedback. So let's get away from that. So just a reminder, wherever you get stuff from, know the return policy.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Whatever you get. So you know. Exactly. Okay. Here it was. This is from yesterday. Hi, Joe. Just listening to your last Friday podcast, fellow communist. It's a great title. Just wanted to give you 2 pieces of feedback.
I forgot you called it that.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. I've said this before, but I could listen to you and your mates banter for the entire podcast. You both are so incredibly lucky to have formed a friendship. All right, he told me his age, but I'm not going to reveal it because I don't know if this is made for public consumption.
No, that's fine.
I'll just say he is older and has met many people, but to my knowledge, you are both unique. Well, that's probably true. I really have no interest in the movies you watch, but the interactions you both have are a joy to listen to. That shit I've heard a lot. I've heard that more often than you think. I have zero interest in the movies, but I like hearing you talk about it. Your mate's laughter really makes me smile. I've heard that one before too. There is something special. That's weird. Your laugh is devilish. All right. No, it's really. That's what Sam, my wife, has said. It's like listening to Satan laugh.
Gonna make me self-conscious. All right, go on.
Oh, no. If you remember, where is it? Don't I have a thing? Hold on. Here it is.
Oh, the giggle, yeah.
How far is... Oh, my God, this is 2 minutes long?
Yeah, just...
Grabbing a drink.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, this.
Oh, yes. Yeah, years ago. Right, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I had your... It's great, right? I think I do have the raw files of laughter cut out somewhere too. Anyway, okay, it goes on.
Go yeah.
My second thought is about the large black man story and why he said what he did to your mate. This is from my cultural perspective, but the world and the people are so gray now. Your mate, in his colorful shirt being a bit silly with his children, would have been a beacon of light amongst the blandness of the world. The black fellow found happiness in that moment. The reply to his statement could have been, I will never change. Just my thoughts. So?
Well, I told him to have a nice day. I tend to do that. I tend to tell everyone to have a nice day.
But I think I see what he's saying is that people are... It's like cars now. Remember that line from Sin City, all cars look like shavers now?
Yeah.
It's like everything is bland and there is no personality. So when you see something that stands out...
I know. It's just I
It's-
don't.
it's-
I mean, you know what I always say. I don't take compliments. I prefer.
Oh,
It's a weird thing. I prefer to be unseen. However, I can't help but be the way I am. So it's a kind of weird
I understand.
conundrum.
I'm the same way.
So, but I want to mention something really quick before you go on. Were you
Mention
talking
it.
about Spencer's gifts the other day?
Last show, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Does your Spencer's gifts have a whole sex shop in the back?
Oh, wow. I haven't been in one in a very long time, so I really don't know.
You know
Hold
what?
on.
Next time you're out and there's a Spencer's Gifts, go check it out. Because I was at the mall today with
Whoa. Yeah, you know what?
Oh, is there?
I just went to their website, and they have a whole section.
Oh my god! There's
They
a
call
whole
it-
sex shop in the
It's
back of the
called
store.
Sex and Wellness. That's the thing
Dude,
with them now.
it's
so there you go.
amazing.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I
Wow.
was at the mall with
Jeez.
my kids and I
Amazing.
think we talked last time about how my youngest loves Hot Topic.
Shop the best dildos online at Spencer's. There you
And
go.
so we went from Hot
Amazing.
Topic, and Spencer's was like right on the other side of the place. And I was like, "Oh, we should go to Spencer's." I was like, "Spencer's was
Wow.
Hot Topic before Hot Topic." So I went in, and we were walking through the store, and my wife had kind of walked ahead of us, and she comes back and she's like, I don't think we should go to the back of the store." And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Unless you want to have a conversation that you don't really want to have today." And I was like, "What?" And I like kind of walked over, and I was like, "Oh man." It was like a total sex shop, like chains and whips and dildos and vibrators and like a whole ton of shit. And I was laughing my ass off about that, but then I was like, holy crap! I was like, when did that change? Like, when did that happen? So, yeah, I figured I'd ask you because you were talking about it recently.
That was not any component of what I was talking about. No.
Yeah,
I didn't realize, but now that I look at their website, apparently, at some point good.
No,
It-
look,
it should be
and you know
normal.
what?
This stuff should
No,
be
no.
normal. It should
And here's
be.
the
but,
thing: growing up,
I didn't know.
our Spencer's was never like that. But also, I grew up with a sex shop, like not 10 minutes, probably like 15 minutes away from my house, which was, I think I took you there once, the Romantic Depot.
Oh yeah. I remember being there.
Yeah.
It's great.
Some of the strangest conversations I've heard people have
Yeah.
was probably there. But yeah, so I'm used to the idea of it being around. And afterwards, I sat down and I talked to my kids about it because I didn't want them to think I don't want them to think that it's something bad. So I was like,
Sure.
"Oh, hey, listen," I said, I was like, "There's a sex shop in the back of the store," and they're like, "What's that?" And I said, as people get older, they have different needs and different demands, and they need different things to bring that about, and so they have stores that help people with that. I was like, and when you guys get older, and I said to them, I was like, don't ever have shame about what you like and what you don't like, as long as it's not criminal. It's like, don't ever have shame about it.
As long as nobody's being hurt against their will, do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
but don't have any shame. I think I think the thing is,
Yeah.
a lot of suffering comes from people who like something and they go, "Oh my god, that's weird," and then they don't want to, they want to hide it, or they.
Well, that's the nature of
Yeah.
how things are. Certainly in this country, the puritanical.
It's like, "Oh, you like that?
standards of
You're
the day.
bad." Yeah, and I think it's that puritanicalness that has kind of created these rigid lines where people are rebelling against it, but in a weird way, their rebelling is also reinforcing it because they want to keep the structures that are there. They just want to be able to be more fluid about it. Whereas I'm sitting there going, "Why are the structures there in the first place? We don't need the structures."
Well, yeah.
Like we could do something else. Something else would be fun. So anyway, yes, Spencer's has a fucking sex shop in the back, which is crazy.
No, that's great. I mean, good.
And
Why not?
and not a little one either. Like, I mean, involved. So yeah, I wanted to mention that because that caught me out of the blue, and I was laughing. I was laughing so hard about it because yeah, it's a whole wall of dildos in the back. Man, I wonder when Spencer's went from
I was just going to say I didn't realize, and I'd be curious. You know what? Actually, hold on. Let's
When
see.
did they go from
Maybe
one
it's
to the other?
when did Spencer's add dildos? It's a simple question.
Did they add the dildo?
Sorry. Hold on. I didn't put a second D, so it said when did it add dinos? It didn't know what I was asking. You have to specify Spencer's Gifts because now it's talking about. Wow. I accidentally typed, when did Spencer's sad dildos add?
Oh, no.
I don't know whether
not
they're happy
sad
or not.
Dildos.
Add. Sorry, hold on. Here we go.
You don't want
right here.
sad dildos.
This website, sextoys1999.com, says, when did Spencer's begin offering adult toys in their stores? The shift in retail landscape. Let's see. Spencer's has always been a brand that operates on the fringes of mainstream culture. Well, I don't know if that's really true, but...
you know what? No. Hold on.
Yeah.
I will say they operate on the edges of mall culture.
Yeah, that's fine, but not mainstream.
Yeah,
I mean, they had
not
Beavis and
mainstream.
Butthead T-shirts and that kind of
Yeah,
shit. So.
mall culture.
I mean,
listen.
Actually,
other than the dildos, it was just a hot topic. Yeah.
They skewed young. That's what it was. It would be a place where your parents would shake their head, but you as a child wouldn't see anything in there that you didn't know what it was. You'd walk in there today and they would have a 6'7" shirt.
I mean,
and that's what Spencer's is.
There were some very funny shirts in there. Yeah.
Oh, I agree, but it's not. I mean, it's not like mainstream culture to me. It's not like you walked in there and they had meth on display.
No.
Okay, that's the fringes of mainstream culture. But anyway, it appears that in 2005, Spencer's strategically began experimenting with adult-themed items. And as feedback rolled in and the demand grew, the need for these products to be offered became, quote, undeniable.
That's funny.
So there you go.
Basically, people were more comfortable going to Spencer's.
People were asking. So they said it took about 5 years, but by 2010 and after, they really were getting into having a full selection.
Wow.
So it was as opposed to having onesie twosie type stuff, they had a whole section like you're talking about.
No, there is definitely a whole section.
Yeah.
So it's very funny.
So that's where. So there you go. 2005 to 2010 so 2005 is when they started with small stuff.
Yeah.
Which honestly, it was probably like flavored lube, and that was it, or something. That was probably just to see if they would get a sudden, like, parents would go crazy saying, "You can't have this stuff for my child." And when they didn't have that, I'm sure then they started moving past it, or people were like, "Hey, do you have more? Do you have a cock ring?" And
it's funny because outside of. From me growing up, like I said, I had a store like that near me, so everybody knew where to go when and if they got interested in something like that. Whereas if you live in an area where there isn't a easy sex shop, then that isn't really shady either. Because our place was oddly not shady at all. Like, it was an incredibly friendly, a friendly sex shop. I can't even put it any other way. So yeah, good for them. I mean, I it's good now that I know, so that I'll be aware.
So it wasn't just yesterday; it's been for a while.
It's been for a while, yeah. It's good. And I'll answer the question for my wife too, because she was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Yeah, surprise." But it makes Hot Topic seem so like tame.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. Is Spencer's... Okay.
Yeah.
So here's how I always felt. Let's talk about these two. And now this is, of course, many years ago where I was last in either of these stores. But Spencer's versus Hot Topic. Hot Topic always felt like the gloomy kind of sitting in the back of the room goth, whereas Spencer's felt like that kid who had to sit in the middle and constantly make noise and get attention. So, yes, in comparison, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it was fun. It was funny. Yeah. Did I have anything else? Oh, you know what? We should probably get into some of these movies, because you and I watched movies, and then we watched some other movies. So we actually have a lot more shit than I expected us to have. Did I have something else for you? Other than my dildos? Nope, just the dildos. Nothing else.
All right. Well, actually, where are we in? Wow, 30 minutes. So it's not like we just started. Okay. Well, then, let me.
Did you think that we just started? It goes so quick, doesn't it?
I don't. Yeah, it does. That's what I mean. So actually, I thought it might be further. So that's fine, because I'm like, oh man, how far are we in already? All right, let's do this here. Hold on. Where is? Oh, here we go.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice, You shut the fuck up!
Okay. That
I
was
had a
very
lot of fun
good.
with that.
No,
Yeah.
that was very good. But I'm just going to warn
Yeah.
you right now. You're going to want to lower the volume on that.
Well, it's a separate track, so I can always adjust that.
Yeah, I would lower the volume a little bit because it was really cool, but it did blow my eardrums out for a second.
Yeah, I forgot that I had it on the wrong setting. So yeah,
No, it's fantastic.
I always,
Good job.
Yeah, yeah. I actually had to re-edit that about 5 minutes before we started recording. I realized it was too long, so I had to kind of trim it. But yeah,
Well, it was fun.
I had to get shut the fuck up in there, and I was trying to figure out how to time it right. That was the problem.
Oh,
so I figured it
yeah.
out.
I mean, and you need shut the fuck up in there.
You really do, and it worked because the song does break, and there's a different vocal thing.
Oh, no,
so I just
you
cut
perfectly
that and
placed
inserted
it, yeah. And you know what? That movie, fucking Megapolis, where that line comes from, dude, he is not giving up on that fucking film. Have you read anything about all the shit he's doing?
Well, yeah, because the documentary's on Criterion, so I'm going to watch it.
He's traveling around. He's doing talks after showings of the movie. Like, good for him. He's like, fuck it, I'm not going down with a fight. You guys are going to like this movie whether you like it or not.
Here's the thing, though, is there is a lot of genuine, endearing kind of reaction to it. I think that the probably the biggest difference between the way he's seeing it and the way most people are seeing it is I think he thinks it should be more sincerely adored as opposed to kind of the way I think a lot of people, which is like, okay, this is a train wreck, but it's interesting.
I think that on one hand, it is ironically hilarious, like that it exists.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I also think that there's a lot of really fascinating, like weird shit in there.
I completely agree, but I think to him there should be no irony. It should be no. This is a serious film, capital S, capital F. And I think maybe he's in a bit of a. I understand. He sees it as a serious statement. That's okay.
He's trying really hard. He wants to keep on fighting. He can fight. It's his movie, right? He made it.
There's no point where I'm going to tell an artist that they should not promote the hell out of their work and believe in it. Go for it.
No, and you know what?
If it means more of that, I'm with you. Fine.
I wouldn't. You know, we were talking before the show. We were talking about movies that we wouldn't tell people to watch. My only piece of advice for anybody who wants to watch Megalopolis is take the length into account. That's it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I enjoyed it. I thought the time went by. I was fascinated by what the fuck was going on. Like, no, it's cool. So
we both enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so,
and I do think about it. I mean, there's a few debates in that movie that are true, like, important conversations to have.
I want to see when that commentary comes out. That might be pretty soon. Let me look. Because I know I delayed it until it was more. No. I delayed it because I wanted it to be more widely available.
My wife asked me the other day that if I drop dead tomorrow, how many years would my commentary still be coming out?
At this point, you got 3, really.
I said yes.
2, 2020. No, you got a lot. Oh, here, Megalopolis. I just saw it. It came out, or it's coming out in March this year.
There you go.
2026, awesome. March 31st, 2026. So it will be out this year, which is plenty of time. That way you can watch it. I agree about watching it at home. I think movies, particularly a movie like this, I know there's lots of people who are diehard cinemaphiles want to see it in the theater, but something like this, I think you risk people leaving. I think if you sit at home and you can take a break when you need to, that's better.
Nope. I have changed my stance on this. I don't think that you need to see movies in theaters. I think there are people who want to, and that's fine. I don't want to say you can't under any means, but for me, I'm good. I'll watch it at home. I'll watch it in my own good time. I'll watch it in the bits that I'm going to watch it. Stop it if I need to. It's just no. I understand the importance of the theater and like the money and stuff like that, but I'm still willing to pay for your movie. I just want to watch it at home.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to.
I just bought Tank Girl on 4K. I will pay for movies even if they're not generally seen to be that good.
I showed that trailer to my youngest, thinking that they'd be like, "Yeah, cool." And they were so
Tank Girl.
They were so unimpressed. I was so sad. I was like, "But Tank Girl's awesome." And this is that whole thing that there's just so much. Oh God, there's just so much that you as a parent is like, "This is awesome," and then kids look at it and they're like, "That's lame." And it's not lame. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I think that's being a parent, realizing that most of what you like is going to be ridiculed, and they're just going to look at you and be like, "You're lame."
Yeah.
But I'm good with that because I love the things that I love. So
Sure.
Tank Girl is fucking awesome.
That's
far as
why I
I'm
bought
concerned.
it. I'm like, I like Lori Petty. I like that movie, and I knew there was a 4K coming,
God, and like Tank Girl
which has, I think,
and
new interviews and stuff.
Point Break are probably her two best movies.
Oh, I would say probably League of Their Own is in there too.
Oh yeah, shit! I always forget she's in that.
I know everybody forgets that, but she's very good.
She's
in that.
excellent in that
That's
as well.
I would say, I think that League of Their Own is probably her best acting. I think Tank Girl is her most Lori Petty film, where I feel like her identity is in there. Like she feels like I don't really know who else at that time I would even want to play that. I think she's so good as that character.
I think
Like
she's
everything about her is just
one of the
right.
best
It's just a
people
shame the
you could've
movie.
gotten.
Yeah, it's too bad the movie couldn't be made the way they wanted to make it.
Well, you know
But it's a
what?
whole separate thing.
The fact that the artist is still working with the Gorillas on their shit, I wouldn't be surprised if we get an animated Tank Girl movie at some point in the the not so distant future.
But yeah, there is a new interview with her on that 4K, so I will be looking forward to that. There's a lot of new interviews. There's stuff on the costume design, how they did the effects. There's a commentary by an author. Trying to see what else. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on
one
there.
of the original Tank Girl people.
No, it's an author named Kristen Lopez, so I don't know if that's somebody
who worked on it.
I don't know if some of the people. Kristen Lopez, let's see.
Weird.
Okay, this is a different Kristen Lopez. Let me look at. I mean, unless she's a singer too. Let's see. Let me just do this. I want to see because they sometimes get Vinegar Syndrome gets some really good people. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That's actually. Oh, she worked for TCM. Okay. She wrote a book called "But Have You Read the Book?" about movies that people don't realize are based on books. That's funny. Yeah. See, I like stuff like that.
Interesting. All right.
Popcorn Disability: A Journey Through the Highs and Lows of Being Disabled Through the Movies. Oh, apparently she's a disabled author. Not that it matters, but I only know that because of the book. Yeah. Oh yeah, she does. Oh wow, she's done a lot of comments. She's done a lot of essays on movies, so that's interesting. Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
we've
See,
encountered
so
this
I look forward
before.
to that. We may have because I bet you she's done other.
She sounds.
Let's see if she's done other commentaries. Yeah. Oh wow, she did an introduction to Natural Born Killers at an actual screening. That's interesting. Oh yeah, no, she's written about modern and old movies, so she's got some knowledge.
Yes, I mean she sounds familiar.
The Thin Man from 1934. So yeah, if she's writing about stuff like that and Tank Girl, yeah, this is my kind of person. Master's degree in English. Let's see. Focused on classic. Oh wow, she does a podcast focused on classic movies.
Oh well.
But she's also done more. Wow, she did her next book is Welcome Boils and Ghouls, The Complete Oral History of Tales from the Crypt. Okay, well, that is interesting to me because I love Tales from the Crypt.
Well, she sounds like a far more informed and well-developed podcast than this one. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Oh, that's for goddamn sure. Oh, boy, is that the case. We already knew that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah, I just pre-ordered that yesterday because it was just announced. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting that. I like that movie. And it'll look the best it's looked in quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. Whenever I'm trying to find movies I want to share with my kids, like, I'm digging through and I'm like, oh, this and that, and Tank Girl. I loved the Tank Girl comics, and I think the Tank Girl comics
I still have them. They're great.
I think that they're just as punk rock and prevalent today as they were when they were made.
Oh, I completely agree. They hold up very well. The originals, they started branching off, and other people do them. They got a little less successful as they went on. But the originals,
yeah,
the ones before, I would say around the time of the movie, that stuff is all perfect.
Yeah, I love those comics. So I think it's great that they're still. But it's hard to get a lot of this older stuff too, because my son asked me the other day if he could read Authority, and I was like, yeah, go ahead, man. But the thing is, we couldn't find an easy copy for him because a lot of the people aren't publishing them.
Really?
Well, you can't. You can only really find the super heavy collected editions now. They're like $50 because it's like
Wow,
all
that's a
of
shame.
the first. Yeah, but this is what's going on with the accessibility of certain comics, which is that it's not they're bad comics; they're good comics. But like, if you don't go online, if you want to buy them in the store, nobody's carrying them. Not really, like.
Wow, that's a shame.
And even when I went to Amazon, it didn't just to see what they had, like, because the Barnes and Noble online is terrible. They didn't even have an easy copy of it. So, and this is sad. I have this giant library of comics, and I've told my kids before. I was like, "Yeah, you can read them." I was like, "Just treat them nice. These books are older than you."
You know what?
They don't want to read them because they're like, well, we want to just
Afraid?
throw them around. Well, the thing is, they're like, we just want to be able to. My son actually said, I like to throw my books around a bit, so I was like, maybe I'm going to pass.
Sure.
And I'm like, I was like,
well, I'm going to say this for DC specifically.
Yeah.
DC on their website has a comic book shop locator, so you can try to find the physical stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That they have like Authority Book 1, it says right here, find a comic shop near you, and it comes up with a map. So if you want a physical copy or you want to try to get one, you can try. At least they do that. And they're not just saying, well, it's digital or nothing, because I know a lot of stuff is doing that, and I don't like it. So at least they're saying, hey, no, if you want physical. But, yeah. The Authority Omnibus. Well, you can still get it. There's a 2025 edition. So it is. Apparently they reprinted it for 2025.
Did they just reprint it? There you go.
Looks like it.
So, yeah, but you're getting this with comics, where stuff is getting, unless they do, like, reprints, right, it's getting harder to find.
Yeah. Well, I think they're still trying to make a series of that, which is probably why it's got a reprint. But if you're not active, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's not a popular comic that somebody's heard of, like Planetary, can't find that.
Planetary.
You got to buy it used.
Yeah, and honestly, it's funny. I love the Authority, but because those are all Wildstorm, right? Yeah, they're all Wildstorm. Yeah, they're all Wildstorm universe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to think that
Both Warren Ellis,
Authority was my favorite in that universe, right? But I've come to realize that whereas I found reading Authority to be, like, at the time more fun, the series that has stayed with me more is Planetary because of all the fascinating, weird shit that they did and the way that it all ties together.
Sure.
That is a series, that is a comic book series that is ripe to be a TV series. Especially with that kind of conclusion. Like,
shit.
What?
They're making a Storm punk figure. Sideshow's got it as coming soon. Okay, well, I'm going to put some money aside from that. Storm, where she's got the mohawk from the 80s and all leather.
Oh, got it. Yeah, Storm.
They're making a premium format figure, so as long as it's not $1,000, I'm buying it.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're doomed.
I know, I am.
You're doomed.
Yep.
But now I have to see it. We're not supposed to shout.
Well, it's just an illustration. They don't even have a picture of the figure. It just says Storm premium format figure coming soon. So
wait a minute. I'm looking at a statue.
Well, but it's already out, or is it a preview? Here, let me look.
Oh, this is a sold
what's
out
a figure,
one.
not a statue. Yeah, I bet you that's one that already exists.
This is an old sold out one, but holy shit, that's a really good statue. Jesus Christ.
Which one is it? Is it the
You
one
ever
with
seen it? The Women of Marvel Storm statue on Sideshow?
Women of Marvel.
That's a great fucking. That's probably one of the best Storm statues I've ever seen.
You said it's Sideshow, right?
Yeah, Women of Marvel.
Make sure I
Storm.
put their name in there. Yeah, the one with the speakers, or the one where she's leaning forward.
Yeah, she's got that punk rock fuck you thing going. Yeah.
I looked at that one.
That's a great statue.
And it's a great statue, but I don't know. The pose is a little weird to me.
That's
I was
from the
close
cover.
to buying it.
That's from the cover of one of the X-Men comics.
Look, there's things that look good in illustration that don't always look good in life.
You know what? That's fine. I get it.
So
we'll see what happens.
I almost got that on several occasions. I more than once, because there's not a lot of them.
Jeez, and let me tell you, buying them now is not cheap.
No.
So, we're totally derailed. Son of a bitch. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Oh, you can go for it. Whoa! Yeah, the Bowen Storm I really like, and that's impossible to get. Yeah, I knew there was another one that I really liked. If you've seen the Bowen one where she's just standing, see, that's better. It's the same exact outfit and look, but she's just standing looking like she's about to whoop ass, which is great.
Whoop ass.
That's a great statue. That I like. It's kind of like I have the black suit Spider-Man that my wife got me where he's just standing there looking pissed. And I like that way better than any of the ones where he's in action. I like statues to literally be statuesque in many cases. I don't need a lot of motion in my statues, which is just me. It's just me.
All right.
But anyway.
There you go.
Go on. I'm going to keep looking at Storm statues. You go on.
So, I, by chance, ended up watching The Creator the other day, which is... What's his name? Oh, God.
Is that Philip Seymour? No.
No. Hold on.
No. Joaquin Phoenix? No.
No.
Who's the main star of it?
Oh, John David Washington. Denzel Washington's
That's
son.
the main... Ah, okay. Oh, I'm mixing it up with the... I'm mixing it up with The Master.
No, this is Gareth Edwards. This is the movie that he did.
Yeah.
You talked about wanting to see this, right?
I think I mentioned that somebody recommended it, and I said, yeah, I'd watch it.
I really, really enjoyed this movie. This feels to me like a one-and-done sci-fi novel that I would have read in the 90s or late 80s or something like that. That someone, some interesting author would have written, and not been part of a series, just this one-and-done book. I really enjoyed it. The soundtrack was good. They had Hans Zimmer on it. All the acting was good. The design, I really like the design of the machinery in this. It reminds me of an artist that I can't... what is his name? Who's the guy who did all this stuff for like Blade Runner? He's like well known.
Sid Mead.
Sid Mead. Yeah, there's a Sid Mead to the all the design. Plus, I like the way the guy filmed this, which is essentially that he didn't want to film it all on a green screen, so they went to all these locations in Asia to actually film.
I think that's why it was recommended. I seem to remember somebody saying, "Hey, if you want stuff that's not CG and it's all actual locations, go to this."
Yeah, he filmed in like the mountains and stuff. And then the other thing is they CG after the fact a bunch of the extras into robots, right? Because it's supposed to be a culture where there's robots and people. And what was neat was that he didn't tell the extras who was going to be a robot and who wasn't, because he wanted to maintain a level of humanity to the way they moved. Which I thought was like little bits like that were interesting. And Denzel Washington's son, John David, is very good. He's very good in his performance. I look forward to seeing him in other movies. But the little girl in this movie, who plays the special robot, she is very good. And there is the end sequence in this movie where she has to encapsulate devastation and joyous success all in like one moment. Is like, it's incredible. Like just watching her face go through this like whole spectrum. It's really good. So yeah, I wanted to bring this up because it's just a stunning looking movie. It's an interesting idea. Do you know anything about the story?
I remember reading the synopsis when it was coming out, but I don't remember now exactly what it was.
Essentially there was the AI has been created, although it's not a networked AI, which is important to bring up. This is a very specific type of AI, which is it's all anchored in bodies. Right now, you can make a copy and you can put it in a different body, but these are not networked consciousness. At no point does anything in this movie seem like it has a networked consciousness or that their personalities on the web or anything like that. But honestly, there's a part of me that when I was watching this, I thought to myself, if you don't watch the end of this movie, it's like a prequel to The Matrix. Remember when they did the Animatrix and they showed you like how the...
I love the... what was that called? It's like Second War. Jesus.
Second Renaissance.
The Second Renaissance. Yeah, that's the best one.
There is an aspect of this movie that feels like it could be a prequel. That kind of prequel. It's just the end then goes a different way. But I like the robot design. I like the way they spatter it through. And so what you got is the humans have a whole AI culture. And this machine that they have used to kind of stop wars nukes LA. out of nowhere. And when it nukes LA, the Americans say, "Oh fuck, AI is bad. We want to wipe the AI robots off the face of the planet." And Asia turns around and says, "We don't think they're that bad." At which point the U.S. goes to war with like basically all of New Asia, which is kind of vague, but I have a feeling it's a lot of Asia all rolled up into one super, like a mega city, mega country type thing. Mm-hmm. And so when the movie starts, I think it's been 10 years. The war's been going on for 10 years, and they know that the AIs have some kind of like master creator, and they want to catch him, and they have a human embedded undercover with a group that they think is like the daughter of the creator, right? But things go horribly wrong. This is within like the first like 10 minutes of the movie. Things go horribly wrong. His cover's broken. And he was essentially married to one of these people in this operation who thought that he was, with them. And he loses, and he loses her within the first, like I said, the first 10 minutes of the movie. That the humans have this massive carrier that's in like low orbit called Nomad. That does.
Wait, when you say loses her, meaning she dies?
She dies. Yeah. She's killed. Yeah. So Nomad,
sure.
Which is like I said, this giant carrier in the sky. They're kind of doing the rods from God thing, except it's actually missiles. But they have this like blue light that shines down that basically is like a radar, and then you know that it's about to fire on you. It's neat. It's really cool the way they do it. So he thinks that she's dead, and he's back in the States, all fucked up and depressed. At which point they approach him, and they say, "Hey," and this is like 5 years later now. They say, "Hey, we just saw a scan, and it looks like your wife." Right? And he sees the scan, and he's like, "Holy shit." And he basically, right there, he basically says he will help them because he wants to see her. And they're using that to get him involved because he knows the layout of the lab where they think that the AIs are keeping their quote-unquote secret weapon. And so they go into this massive unit into New Asia to sneak in and try and hit this lab and find the secret weapon. And of course, everything goes fucking apeshit. And when he finds the secret weapon, it is an AI that is also a child, of which there are none. And supposedly her systems...
Wait. When you say there are none...
There are no AI
children.
No.
Oh,
there are children.
There
are no AI children.
I'm making sure because in a world like this, I don't know. So
and this is some kind of intersection between organic and robotics because they're saying that she will grow, that her systems will evolve and she will grow. So it's kind of they're getting into kind of like a weird technological territory here, but it really works in the movie. At which point the Americans, who kind of come off like the bad guys, are desperately trying to get to this kid. And at first, the main guy, John David Washington, is trying to... At first, he's trying to get the kid back to them. But then when he realizes that the kid may know where his wife is... he kind of goes deeper into New Asia with this kid trying to find it. It turns into kind of an interesting road movie where they've got American units that are trying to find them all over the place. They're trying to stay away from the New Asia units that are trying to catch them. Everybody's after them, and he just wants to find his wife. He doesn't even really care anymore. Like there's this one line where he says, "I would do anything to have just one more minute with my wife," and that is the modus operandi of this movie. That once you realize that this guy doesn't give a shit about the politics or anything anymore, you suddenly understand all the stuff that his character does. And it has a Gareth Edward ending, of course. My son actually said, "Is like, does he have any, happy endings to his movies?" And I'm like, it's not because he watched Rogue One, and I was like, it's not a totally depressing ending. It is a bittersweet ending, because the guy does get to see his wife again, briefly. They don't make it. But the kid does make it. And the kid turns out to be a scan of basically his wife is pregnant. And there was a scan of her she did the scan of her fetus, and she kind of based this unit off their unborn child. So this thing is essentially like his daughter, right? And then he sees his wife again because her I think they bring they put a personality chip of her into a new body, which that was one of the things I didn't understand why they had all these copies of her body, but I wonder if it was basically the U.S. government not wanting anyone else to get copies of her body or something like that. There's some gray zone. I need to watch it again. But this is a movie that I want to watch again because there's so much interesting detail going on in the background and commentary, and a lot of emotion and humanity, and the whole idea is that the robots just want to be left. They just want to live peacefully with humans, and you find out this is the thing in the movie that I thought should have had so much more time. Is that at one point in the movie you find out that the atomic bomb that was dropped, the AIs didn't do it. It was actually human error that caused it to happen. And it never gets addressed. Like, they never stop and go, holy shit. Like, no one ever stops and goes, the whole point of this war is bullshit in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, he just kind of gives you that detail and then keeps going. But, like, I heard that and I was like, holy crap. I was like, isn't that the whole point of this? So, yeah, the U.S. government doesn't come off very well.
What a surprise.
Which in today's climate kind of works. Some other interesting things that he did, because it's a movie about there's a little girl and then there's essentially her father figure. He filmed all the interestingly emotional scenes late in the filming and did all kind of the more introductory scenes early in the movie because he really wanted to give them a connection for those emotional scenes. And it's a hard movie. Like there's a few points in this movie where like people die and you feel it. Where you're like, oh god, I wanted him to make it. Like there's a robot. There's a great scene. There's a robot who's the second in command to Ken Watanabe, who is some kind of like so some of the robots have upgraded faces. So they have the faces of people, but they are still robots. And Ken Watanabe is one of those. And he has this second in command who has like a big robot head. He's got like you can probably find that online. He's got like a big white front head unit, and then he's got this kind of weird little mouth that's almost like two little robot jowls. I like him. He had like a neat voice, and he was kind of the second in command of Ken Watanabe's character. At one point, they're being attacked by these tanks that have like homing missiles. And when the homing missiles hit you, it's like a video game where there's basically a giant blue radar light around where you are. And the robot guy goes running for cover, and he gets to this building where he could run in, and there's a whole family of like women and children in the barn. And he looks at them and realizes that if he runs in there, they'll all die. So he basically runs away, even though knowing he'll be blown up because he doesn't want to kill all those people. And he has this incredibly like noble death that like hits you right in the stomach because you're like, oh shit, I liked him. Like, so yeah, I don't want to give it all away. I don't mind giving it all away, but because I saw it and you didn't see it, I'll wait one day when you see it and then we can both geek out about it. But it is a beautifully filmed movie. I like Gareth Edwards quite a bit. I've liked him since he did Monsters. Is it called Monsters or Monster?
Yeah, Monsters.
Yeah, I think I reviewed years and years and years ago Monsters. It was a really subtle movie. I thought it was great. I understand
that's what got him. What do you call it?
Godzilla.
What got him Godzilla, which I really like.
Yeah, and I really like his Godzilla. I totally understand why they didn't have him do any more of them. But as a movie to bring Godzilla back,
it went in a very different direction after him.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But as a movie to bring Godzilla back, he was like definitely the man I would have gone.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
And honestly, I think Rogue One is probably one of the best new Star Wars movies they've made. For me, easily.
Yeah.
And then I really like the creator. I think it's a great movie. What's funny is that I watched Jurassic World Rebirth, and it just whoa, sorry, my chair just broke.
Wow.
You just heard the little piece on my chair drop. Okay. I have to stand now. Oh, God, that's funny. Son of a bitch, what did I do? All right. You know what? This thing was never meant to be a chair. What's that?
I guess not.
This thing was, well, it's not. No, because it's actually my under chair exercise bike. My under table exercise bike. Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I used to just sit on it now and then and like pedal. But when we started doing all these movies, you know, where I'm standing here for like 2.5 hours sometimes, it's like, okay, I need to sit for a little bit. And I've been sitting in this thing far more, and I think it just shit the bed. It didn't want to be a chair. So I will continue on foot. So, Jurassic World Rebirth, I liked seeing Scarlett Johansson in it, but it was kind of a waste of a movie. It was a waste of him as a director. But you know what? It made a lot of money. It shows that he can still make big budget popcorn movies. And if that's what he's got to do, so I get more movies like The Creator and more movies like Monsters, then I'm totally on board. Because The Creator, I do not think that this movie was made for the general public. It's got too much messaging going on. It's too bittersweet. It's got a fucking hell of a body count. But I adored it. And you know when you watch a movie, you know when we're watching these horror movies and we bond to a character or a pair of characters and we're like, oh God, I really want them to live. And honestly, one of the movies tonight, we're going to be talking about movies where that happens. We sit there and we're like, oh, we want them to live. We want them to live. Come on, don't die. Don't die. I want them to make it. In this movie, I desperately wanted the family to be restored. I really wanted it to get to the end and have the three of them be together. And as it was going, I knew that it was impossible. And I wasn't... It absolutely made sense why it wasn't going to happen. And yet, I was so hoping that it would. And it's that kind of movie where I got emotionally invested. I was interested in these characters. The main guy, he starts out very broken and unlikable, but as he goes, he realizes that he was wrong. There is an evolution and a growth to his personality. He is also, he is clever. And so... a lot of the things he does, I mean, you know, is The Creator a perfect movie? No. What movie can be? Are there plot holes? Sure. But it was a really enjoyable watch. I enjoyed it. It looks gorgeous. The robot design is phenomenal. And it didn't feel, it didn't feel fake. You know, some of these movies you watch and you're like, it just feels like all fake. Like there was something oddly lived in about the robots. Like when they were walking around and doing things, it didn't feel unnecessarily floaty. And this is something you get from like, what's his name? When when we were watching the first Mandalorian, right? And they have the droids, like whatever droids show up. They're not CG. Most of the time, they're a guy in a suit. Yeah, right.
Practical. Sure.
Yeah, and so the droids have this physical presence, right? Whereas when you watch Rogue One, they had Alan Tudyk there in stilts, right? But at the end of the day, they had to CG him. They had to CG on top of him, right? It wasn't perfect. It works, but it wasn't perfect. Whereas the robots in this movie feel so... man, they just feel so lived in. Like there's a whole world there. I'm fascinated. I'm interested, and the robots fully occupy it. Like there's a lot of physicality between people and robots. And like I'm sure you've seen that design where the big spinning thing on the back of the head that you can see through.
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, at no point do they fuck that up. I kept watching to see how they did the effects with that, of like looking through the head. I was like, they always nailed it. It always looked good. It never felt fake. Ken Watanabe is phenomenal looking in this. So yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of it, and I would advise any nerd, if you like robots, if you like military science fiction, and if you're interested in stories about two different societies trying to come to terms with each other, or you just like sci-fi action movies, it's an awesome fucking movie. I loved it. I look forward to when you see it and seeing what you think. And honestly, I think the core thing for me is, so I wanted the family to be back together by the end, but that's because that's kind of
Sure.
me. But knowing you, when that guy says I would do anything to have another minute with my wife, I know that will resound with you, and that's why to me it's a bittersweet ending, because towards the end of the movie they destroy Nomad, because Nomad is the thing that's allowing the U.S. to kind of perpetrate all this violence against AI.
Well, it feels like an analog to the Peter Weller Fringe thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
Like
when
that.
he gets the little girl off Nomad, and Nomad starts to explode, and you know that the whole thing is going to come crashing down, he then sees her, like one of her clone bodies, with the chip in that the little girl had put in, but it hadn't activated fast enough. And so he's kind of walking through this kind of garden area with, like, you know, the vision of like the planet beneath, and he sees her. And the last shot you see of the two of them is that they embrace, and he gets his minute. Like, he gets to be with her again. And yes, they do die, but he didn't give a shit, because all he wanted was to have one more minute with her, and that's what he gets. So it's this bittersweet ending, because you're like, yeah, it sucks, but, you know, but he gets what he wants. So, yeah, I thought it was great. And I would advise anybody who likes sci-fi should check it out. It's a neat movie. I'm sure there's those that'll be like, it's too intellectual, or it's too long, or we don't like movies where the U.S. comes off as the bad guys.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
But in this situation, yeah, it was really good. I mean, but yeah, that one sequence when they say that the bomb dropped, that it was a human error, that it wasn't the AIs, I kind of look at it and go, it's my stupidity where I'm sitting there going, well, that should mean something more. And you know, 15 years into this war, it doesn't mean shit anymore. And it's kind of like the like Vietnam and the Gulf of Tonkin, where you find out that, you know, what was the name of the ship in the Gulf of Tonkin? The false flag. Oh God, I can't remember.
I can never remember. I know Gulf of Tonkin, but I can never remember the name of the damn ship.
Yeah, basically, the Gulf of Tonkin was a false flag. They basically wanted to get human support behind Vietnam.
Right.
And you're like, oh, but, you know, that's important. And you're like, is it? I was like, that was so many years ago, and it ended, and it's gone, and you know, it adds to the mistrust. But at the end of the day, it's not going to, you know, if people had found out halfway through Vietnam, it wouldn't have necessarily slowed the U.S. government down, would it? And in this situation, it's like, if it came out that, you know, it was human error that dropped the bomb, you're 15 years into this war. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, what stopped the war was taking away their giant space gun. You know, not in the same way that Tetsuo did, but, you know, that is a great part of that movie. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, The Creator, super cool. I loved it. Beautiful movie. Watch it. And that's me.
So the movie that I watched, it's hard. I shouldn't say it's hard to recommend. You have to understand what it is going into it.
This is a wind-up, okay.
Well, it's a documentary.
Oh,
so I did my sort of typical thing where I went to Criterion and I started looking around. And I've talked about this before. I have a couple of different like things that will make me stop on a movie. Generally, it's poster art. It could be in a collection, that type of thing. Right. So generally, the first thing I look for is a visual that's striking. And then I read what it's about. And then it depends on what mood I'm in. So I didn't really set out to watch a documentary specifically. But I was scrolling through. I don't even remember what the section was, to be honest. I don't even know what this was in, or if it was just in there trending or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I saw this interesting poster. It was kind of black and white, and it's very stylized, picture of a woman's face. And so I looked at it, and the title of the documentary, it's a long one, is Goodbye Horses, The Many Lives of Q Lazarus. And I read the thing about it, And I didn't know who this person was, and I didn't know what the song was, even though I do know what the song is, and everybody would if you've ever seen Silence of the Lambs. But this is the individual who did the song where Buffalo Bill dances in front of the camera. There's a song that plays. It's a very distinctive song.
Yeah.
And one of the scenes most people know from that movie. So a lot of people know the song. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I read what it was, and I'm like, all right, I'll watch this. Why not? So I spin it up. And it's a fairly recent documentary. I think it came out this year. It was released, I think, last year on the festival circuit, that type of thing. But then it got wide released. And like I said, it's on Criterion. And so I watched it. And basically, it's a really interesting story because this woman had an amazing voice. I mean, her voice just stellar. And Jonathan Demme, the director of Silence of the Lambs and many other movies, heard this song, used it in Married to the Mob as well. I didn't remember it from that. I remembered it in Silence of the Lambs once I heard it. But he was a huge fan of hers, and he kept trying to make her career take off. But at the time, she wanted to be a black rock singer, not a black R&B singer, not a soul singer, not to fit into where most record companies wanted a black artist, a black woman to fit. And so, and this is Jonathan Demme, a big-time director, couldn't make it happen, so she went overseas. And same thing there. They were a little bit more open to her. She got some degree of fame. She was playing big venues. But literally, this song is the only one she ever recorded. And so she came back to the States. The guy that she was with ditched her and just went back to London and bailed on her. And she got very disillusioned, and she just quit. She just disappeared. She just stopped talking to anybody who was in music. She just, that was Q Lazarus was her stage name. And most people didn't know her other name, her real name, which was Diane Lucky. And she just started driving a cab in New York.
Oh,
right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. With and just would never talk about it. Nobody knew about it. She got into drugs and then prostitution. Like she had a hard life because she got brought into the drug life in London, got addicted, came back, couldn't support it, got out of control. The whole, typical thing where drugs come in, and if you're not making a bunch of money, typically it's hard to maintain a drug habit. So you start doing more and more desperate things. And so she just gave up on it and just rebuilt her life, got a standard job, didn't try to do singing anymore or anything else. So she's driving a taxi, and it just so happens the documentary filmmaker was looking for this artist because she'd grown up listening to the song and then knew the person disappeared. And this seems like something that would be made up. She's in the cab, and she's going to Staten Island, which is the last place this person was known to be living, and just happened to ask the cab driver, have you ever heard of Q Lazarus? And the woman says, because she's the driver, she's like, oh, yeah, name strikes a chord, but doesn't say anything else until they get to where the woman was going, and then she turns around and says, well, that's me. Complete random. The woman did not know, because nobody knew, that this woman was a cab driver. So it just so happened she was just trying to fish whether anybody knew who this person was. And she gets in the cab with this person.
Yeah,
and then starts to...
It does feel outlandish, but outlandish shit does happen.
It does. Logically, a cab driver is one of the people that you often hear is somebody that reporters, journalists, they go to cab drivers for this type of thing because those people know the people in the neighborhood. So they are actually a very good source of information. I was actually listening to a thing where a reporter was talking about one of the things that they dread about if it becomes a world of driverless taxis is this person said, yeah, there goes one of my primary sources of information. Who am I going to talk to? Who am I going to get this random bit of a lead off of when it's just a robot? They're not going to know anything. Anyway, that's a complete separate tangent. So this woman says, well, I'd like to talk about, if you want to talk about it.
I've been looking for you.
Yeah, what happened? And through this, she sort of got reinvigorated with music, and she decided that she would, because her voice was still very good. And so she's kind of telling the life story, because it's going over a course of years. And so she contacts her old band, who she had a very good relationship with, and just disappeared. So they were all willing to get back together. And then right when they were getting ready to kind of go back on the road and relaunch, COVID hits. So everything's shut down. Literally, they were about to do a bunch of concerts. And so everything got shut down. And so COVID's going on. And so in this time, she had met an individual, got married. She has a son. The son and part of the reason that she got off drugs is she realized that she'd been pregnant for 5 months while she was on coke. Ooh. And she was like, oh, no. And of course, the son was born addicted to cocaine. So she's like, I cannot, either I kill myself or I clean myself up. I will not do this to this child. So that was her decision. She's like, I was considering suicide, but I was like, nope, I have to clean up my life. And she did. I mean, she cleaned up completely by all accounts. Once she left it behind her, there's no indication she ever went back to it. So got custody of the son back when he was 6. They raised the son. Son seems like very well-adjusted individual, but when COVID hit, obviously the music thing got put on hold, and the son, it's the documentary doesn't specifically say, but it seems like whatever his employment was must have ended, and he had no money, or he needed a way to make money. He decided to go work on a fishing boat, like a Deadliest Catch type boat. And she was very upset about it because she's like, okay, we could find you some other work. But I think it was partially he just needed to get out there. He felt maybe trapped. Again, you infer a lot of this because there's never a specific thing that says it. But he seems like he's somebody who was not happy being cooped up at home. And so one of the few careers you could probably have during COVID, who the fuck cares about a boat out on the water? So yeah, you can go work on a boat. Yeah. So she's driving him and she drops him off. And then a title card comes up and says, this was the last time they ever saw each other again. And as soon as I saw that, because she's such a bright, energetic person. Like, does not let anything get her down. Like, she's persevering. She got through all this stuff. And the first thought I thought was, Jesus Christ, he's dead. He's going out on the boat. The boat's going to capsize, whatever, and the kid's going to be dead, and she didn't want him to go. Like, I'm like, this is something. Yeah, when you see something like that, something awful is coming. So right then, I literally paused it, and I had to, get up and take a walk. Because I'm like, shit, okay, I can't not finish this thing. There's 15 minutes left. I have to finish it.
That's like when I watched the Auschwitz documentary, and they're talking about all the French Jewish kids that they rounded up on the train. And then they were like, yes. And then they brought them to Auschwitz, and they killed them all. And I had to walk away from the TV for a little bit after that.
And that's the thing is because I'm like, there is something terrible coming. I don't know what it is. And the problem is, because of the way the title card is written, it's either she's not going to be around or he's not. There's no reason, or the son just never comes back. But it just didn't feel like that was it. It felt like it had to be something worse. Not that he just never showed up, because that was what happened with the guy who went back to London, not who became her husband. She met him and they were together. But the other guy just bailed on her. And so I'm like, oh my God, is the son going to fucking do this again? And is this like where you're going to find out she killed herself? Like, I'm like, oh God, he's not going to come back. Like, I had to gotta gird myself for whatever was happening. I'm like, all right, it's not going to be good. You don't know what flavor of bad this is, but this is not going to have a purely happy ending. Started up again, and then there's a video where she's recording it that she's going in for hip surgery, and she sends it to her son. It's being done to her son. She's like, in case something happens, I just want you to know I love you. And it's like a recording of her saying it with the mask on and everything.
And you're like,
and then I'm like, oh no, she's going to die in surgery. She's going to die in surgery. This is going to be a thing. But no, she makes it through surgery. And, she's recovering. She's getting ready to, she has to recover so she can go on the road again. So I'm like, okay, I still know something's coming. I don't know what it is. And then you see that she falls down. And she goes into the hospital. And she gets sepsis. And she dies.
Oh my God.
And the son's like, this is common. If you do any kind of research, it is very common for women of color to be ignored by doctors when they say something's wrong. This is a common thing in American healthcare. Their concerns are not taken seriously. And the son's like, no, this is because they neglected my mother. Because then you see him and he's talking about it. He's like, no, this is what happens to black women. They say something's wrong. Doctors don't take them seriously. So this was neglect. Because she had sepsis and she never recovered. She died. And I was fucked up for 30 minutes. I was weeping because this woman, the thing that upset me, besides the fact that she seemed like a person who overcame all this stuff, only to die because of medical malpractice. Now, whether it's purely that or it was a combination, but certainly from the accounts that, and I don't know why they would lie, and this is something that, if you just do basic research, there is a problem where specifically women, but you can broaden it to people who are not white.
My wife has said to me many times that when it comes to like pain and things like that, that they don't listen. They don't listen, like. No, it's women broadly, but then you add women of color and then people of color, and it just expands and expands. Like, this is not news. And if you just have to do the most basic of looking around, and you will find that this is not something that's... Look, my aunt, who is white, was ignored and nearly died of sepsis when she had a colonoscopy and they perforated her colon. And she sat in an emergency room with my cousin, who was a nurse, saying, this is not just pain. You have to look at her. And she nearly died. White woman. So imagine now, add everything else to that. So yes, it does happen, and it is women are... I think a lot of it is, women can sustain more pain because they get periods. Like, I think literally a lot of it is this bullshit that women just are perceived to have a higher pain tolerance. So, it's probably not as bad as they think. Yeah, but then you would think that when they complain, you'd be like, oh shit, they're complaining.
Right, but if you're already assigning things to women in general that are based on nothing, right?
Yeah.
So it's that, because you've spent 90 minutes with this woman who's getting energized about getting back to it. Like, she's excited about it again, putting the band back together. Like, her son is very supportive. He says, you have to follow your dreams. She spent all this time getting herself right for me, so I'm going to support whatever she wants to do. Let's get her back into music. Like, the husband's, everybody's supportive of it.
Yep.
And she gets right to the point, and then this happens. And it's that on top of the fact that you see there's all this archival stuff where people are, and she was immensely talented. She should be a name that people know. She had this wonderful stage presence, beautiful voice, this wonderful energy. And if not for this documentary, I don't think I ever would have thought twice of. I mean, I'd never heard the artist name before.
Yeah.
And
you probably
it's heartbreaking. It's terrible.
You wouldn't know anything about her unless you saw, or you pursued that song. Yeah. Unless you heard that song and you're like, hey.
That's what the documentary, that filmmaker, that was where it came from for her, because she said, a lot of the songs from my youth, I knew who they were and got their records, but I could never find anything by this person. And I was sure they had to have recorded something else, which she never did. She never released anything else. She had recorded other things. Now, there is an album, which I bought on CD, that has all of her songs that were, some of them sound like they're probably from demo tapes, whatever, I don't care. And there's really good songs. That's the other thing. You're hearing these songs during the documentary, and there's some stellar songs on there. And they're all from her. Every song on the documentary is her music and her singing and everything else. And there's just beautiful songs on there. Like, really good, like, synth pop songs and rock songs.
Why did it not take off? What happened?
Because they couldn't fit her into a box. She was a large, in other words, she was a large woman, large black woman fronting a rock band. The rest of the people in the band were white. Not to say that, she had great relationships with all the band members, so they were all supportive. Everybody says she was great.
Yeah, they came back.
But you can't market her. That was at the time. Now, today, probably it would be very easy, because that's the other thing is I thought about the fact that, okay, if this was 20 years later, Bandcamp would solve that problem. You would be selling records out the ass because you wouldn't have to worry about a record label or any of these people controlling you. You would just release your stuff. You would find an audience. And it's an excellent documentary. It's excellent. I think people should see it, if for no other reason but to have the recognition of this person's life.
It sounds heartbreaking.
It's fucking devastating, especially if you're a creative person or an artist. Because I did that for a while, where I was like, fuck drawing. I'm not going to be Jim Lee, so what's the point? I did that for a while. So I understand where that impulse comes from if you think you have this idea of what your future is going to be and you just stop.
Yeah, well, listen, I gave it up. I gave up writing. I stopped. Right. I said, you know what? I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. I got other things I want to put my energy to. I don't hate writing. I'm not bitter about writing, but I had to come to terms with the fact that I wasn't going to make it in that field, and there were other things I wanted to do. And I can still read, and I still enjoy reading and all that stuff. But yeah, I had to come to terms. And I think that's the thing. I had to explain this to my kids recently because we were talking about, why is art school tough? And I was like, because when you get there, part of art school is teaching you that this isn't going to be what you think it is. You're not going to make it the way you necessarily think you're going to make it. Things are going to get hard. And if you're not ready for that hard, then maybe you should be doing something else. And how a lot of people, you're not necessarily going to end up where you think you're going to end up. We aren't all going to be rock stars. We aren't all going to be, we aren't all going to make it. Yeah. And it's a hard lesson. But I mean, you had that. I mean, I took a little bit of classes in school for art, and I looked it around and I said, you know what? You're right. I'm not this person. And I'm not angry about it. I'm glad that I realized early on that I just wasn't that person. Because other people are passionate enough about it. They go, fuck yeah, I am. And they stay. And they do great things. I wasn't that person. So, that's
Well, I think the other part of it is that there's no way to ever know, obviously. You can't know what didn't happen. But
yeah,
I would have made a safe bet that the band probably would have found success if they started recording stuff now because they could have released it online.
Yeah.
It probably would have at least,
and
at the very least, she would have gotten some kind of recognition.
It's good that her CDs are out. It's good that some of her music is out there because it also means that, that'll go to her son. That's a connection, that's her leaving something for her son. And that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a hell of a bummer.
Like I said, it's a weird thing because I want people to see it, but just be aware.
It's a bummer, but you should watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Yeah. It's good to celebrate people.
No.
And
this I'm going to link the CD in the show notes, and you'll see the artwork I'm talking about that I saw where I was like, oh, what is this? But yeah, like I said, all the songs that are on there are all her songs, which is one of the things that you realize. I don't think they tell you at first. And there's a point where it comes up and says, all music on this thing is her music. So she's singing all of it. And the fact that the CD has 23 songs on it, and that's not even all of her stuff, obviously they could have sold stuff. It could have happened.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go listen to that song. I don't remember the song. Yeah.
I didn't remember it either, but then when you hear it, you remember it instantly.
You're like, oh yeah,
it's a very specific kind of it's a very interesting song.
Yeah.
And once I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, this song. I know this song. Most people will only know it from Silence of the Lambs because that dance sequence is where you go, oh, this is what's happening here. Like it's a pretty memorable sequence in the movie.
This is the kind of movie we're watching. Okay.
Yeah, that is one of the scenes that most people, if they only ever saw the movie once, will remember. So,
Yep.
But anyway, that's
what a thing for that. What a thing for that actor too. That'll be the thing that people remember him the most for.
Well, interestingly, in my case, I remember him from the Earth to the Moon because he was one of the astronauts. He was the astronaut with the.
Oh, he's done a ton of good
hearing
shit.
Problem.
He's done a ton of good shit since. It's just funny because it's like,
Oh yeah. But you're right. Most people, if you don't watch a lot of stuff, will probably know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's good.
It sucks. I hate to recommend something that's a downer. I don't. But I think the value of knowing who this person is and seeing her work and hearing her voice offsets it.
There you go.
But I can't pretend it's not going to be one where you get to the end and you're like, fuck, man. It is.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is, this goes back to the whole, so many artists that don't get they don't get recognized in their lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, and she's recognized now. I mean, that's the other thing too. Is she is recognized now. People know her music now, but it came too late.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But you know, as I always say to my wife, heartache is built in. So, one way or the other, it's just the way it is. Yeah, I don't really know where to go with that.
Well,
you know
we can go the other way and talk about Blade.
No,
which is awesome.
I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised you didn't have a clip of her music to play.
You know what? That's I'd
Like,
rather
even,
people go to the page for that. And, I mean, I could play it, but
I mean, because even if what is it, like 30 seconds or something like that you're allowed to play?
yeah, I mean, I can do it in 2 seconds. Hold on a minute. Give me a second. I'll play it. I'll play the song so everybody would know. Here it
We've
is.
talked about it.
Hold
so.
on a minute. Yeah.
How long can you play it?
Well, look. Number one, I don't give a fuck. But
Well, okay. Number one,
I won't,
you should.
No. I don't. Whatever. It's interestingly, I wonder if it would even get blocked because I don't. Like I said, she only ever recorded this. It was never on an album or anything.
Yeah,
so I don't even know if it would get blocked because it would get blocked if it was the video. You know what I mean? From Besides the Lamps. Then it would get blocked. But I don't know if it'll even get blocked. All right, here we go. Let's play this at like 25. Well, this is the beginning of it. So, because it's on YouTube. It's not blocked. So. Picture the scene as I'm hearing it right away.
I just kept thinking of I'd fuck me. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, but it is. Yeah, I forgot how synth this is. Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
And this was recorded in one shot in the apartment of the person playing the keyboard. Not even in a studio, professional. No, they recorded this in an apartment, and she said, I'm going to knock this out in one take. So this is one take. Done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song.
So what's the album called?
Well, the album is,
Or is this
the soundtrack to the documentary.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what's the soundtrack? What's the documentary called again for us?
The documentary is Goodbye Horses, The Many Lives of Q Lazarus. The album is Goodbye Horses, The Many Lives of Q Lazarus soundtrack.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So, it's a great song. I mean, she had a great voice.
She had a deep fucking voice.
Yes.
Man, yeah. She could go down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and when the documentary was being made, her voice was still like this. Like, she still had her voice. It hadn't, like...
Interesting. Yeah.
Because, like, Robert Plant's voice is much different now than it was when he was in Led Zeppelin,
but you know
obviously.
what? I give him credit.
Still good.
He's still trying to do all kinds of weird music.
No,
and
it's just a different different voice, but he doesn't have the same voice.
No,
Her voice was the same because she sang parts of this, and it's the same. And that was the thing. That's what I mean about it. Just this snowball of like dread is in the second part, is towards the end, because you're like, okay, she could have just done it. She could have done this. She could have recorded a whole album of just what was out there. And then fucking from a hip operation. Not she got drunk and fell off the wagon and got into a car wreck. Not she OD'd.
I know, but that's what gets you. It's not the thing. It's never what you expect it to be that gets you.
I know. It just sucks.
You know. It's always what you least expect, really.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I'll fade it off there. But that's the song.
Well, I am gonna buy that song. Not right now.
Yeah. The album is also digital. I got the CD because I wanted to have it, but there is a digital version of it too. And I think you can preview all the songs at the link that I have in the show notes. And like I said, there's a number of very good songs. Some of them are more rocky. Some of them are more synthy. Obviously, I tend to go towards the synthy stuff more often. But they all really showcase her voice. So like I said, it's just, it's a great documentary and it's a very good album.
It's cool. Yeah, it's just, it's a shame.
Like I said, on top of the fact that her song is associated with one of the great films and one of the most memorable scenes in a great film. That's just it just compounds. Everything just compounds once he gets to the end, and the fact that she got her son back and they had a good relationship and everybody was support. It's like even the band members were like, "Yeah, let's do." Like, that's the thing. Like it all seemed like it was coming back up, and then it went into a wall. So,
well,
anyway,
let's go talk about Blade. Let's let go of the sadness.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's talk about Blade, because Blade,
which is a weird,
is fucking awesome. I'll only play a little bit of that. I'm sure that'll get blocked if I play too much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Now this is weird for us because we don't tend to watch newer movies, or not newer movies, but like, this is a well-known
rewatching
movie.
This movie is like, everybody knows it. We've seen it a bunch of times. So
we knew what this was, but I don't even have. We were talking about Wesley Snipes, and actually originally we were debating doing a triple threat and watching Demolition Man, Blade, and Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Because we were like, wouldn't that be funny if we did that?
Yeah.
And we didn't get around to it because timing and the holidays and all this shit.
Yeah, it's tricky.
But we did manage to see Blade, and it is still a fucking awesome movie. I'll get into details, but up front, Blade is still an awesome fucking movie, and having watched it again now, it holds up. It's still astoundingly good. Sometimes when you go back and you watch some of these movies, you're like, yeah, it's okay. It's dated.
Right.
I don't even think it's dated. Like, it looks so good that it still looks modern to me. Did you get that at all?
Look, I'm completely there. On the commentary, I said, this looks like it was made yesterday. I think I said that at one point. I'm like, this movie has nothing. The only thing that gives this movie's age away is the lack of cell phones. It's the only thing you would pick up eventually is that, but I don't even think that really might occur to people because there's nothing in the movie that it feels like a cell phone would have solved. There's nothing, because there's movies now that you watch and be like, well, if you had a cell phone, this would never happen. Nothing in Blade would a cell phone have stopped.
Would have solved.
Right. So I think even that is the only thing that would really give away for some people that it's set in any time other than the current day, because otherwise it's timeless. It's specifically made so that it doesn't necessarily
it's no
evoke
city.
a city, even though you very clearly see the tower from LA at multiple points, which I noticed. So that gives it away a bit. And that could have been easily removed, but they probably just didn't even think about it. Otherwise, I thought it was New York for a while till I saw that. And the badge, the police stuff doesn't indicate it specifically.
I think it's like Central or something like that. Yeah, it could be
Center City, I think.
It could be any city.
It could be any city. It could be any city.
Yeah, it could be any city. Yeah. And honestly, the commentary isn't going to come out for years. But watching this movie made me not as excited about the idea of them doing a remake. Because I don't think that this kind of Blade could ever fit in the current like Marvel universe. I just don't think it fits. You know?
No.
No, yeah, it was neat.
That's why I like it.
It was neat.
Specifically, one of the things I like about it is that it doesn't feel like a modern Marvel movie, which I'm just past.
I still enjoy them. I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm over it. I was never in love, so I guess for me it's like, as long as I'm still being entertained, it's like, okay, I'm still entertained, so we're good. But I mean, you know, the music is great in this movie. The look is great. Chris Christopherson and Wesley Snipes have such great chemistry. The two of them. I mean, the weakest part of this movie, the woman that's with Blade, you know, she's not as solid as Wesley Snipes was in this, right? But otherwise, the villains feel a bit 90s. Stephen Dorff and his bangs. It's like, the one thing in this movie that whenever he shows up, I'm like, oh, the bangs, man, the bangs.
Yes. Well, and I think that's because that they are supposed to be the bratty asshole vampires.
Yeah.
So that's and they are a specific decision. Yeah. But it does to a degree give away that the bratty teens of the 90s would look like this.
Bangs would have.
But since all that style is now back in, it kind of doesn't, because I'm seeing a lot of 90s fashion shit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, in a weird way, it feels more present than it would have 10 years ago.
And what's funny is I think that Blade paved the way for them to make more intense Batman movies as well, because there's so much about Blade that when you watch that movie, you're like, oh, there's a lot of this is very Batman, like the Batman. You know, I know you could say that Blade is borrowing from Batman to make the movie in the first place, right? But the first Batman movies they made, like, you know, the Tim Burton ones, which are ones that were out at that point, they were still overly kind of like stylized but cheesy. You know what I mean? Like, they hadn't gotten gritty. So to me, it's fascinating the way that
they existed in their own reality. This feels like it's set, like, you know, that's why it can be in any city, because it feels very grounded and realistic. There's a point where Blade says, forget the shit you saw in the movies.
Yeah.
You know, it's very pointedly trying to say, almost the interesting part about the movie, to think about it in a context way, is it is a comic book movie, but it's not about a comic book character almost any person who wasn't into comics would know.
Yeah.
This is the Guardians of the Galaxy of its time, but more so because when this came out, again, you and I know who Blade is, or Blade would know who Blade is, but most people wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
So and the commentary about forget what you saw in the movies is basically saying, hey, this is not even though it is a comic book movie, it's saying this is not going by kind of classic fictional convention, you know, that we're doing our own thing. But you're right, because he's driving a muscle car that is probably somewhat modified, but certainly is not, you know, it doesn't have giant bat wings with a big, you know, a Ghostbusters symbol through it, like a little vampire with a not symbol on it, like not smoking. Like, it's not ridiculous. It doesn't try to be jokey, except at certain points where it is legitimately funny because of Wesley Snipes' reactions to things.
Yeah.
You know, how, you know, it's things that he's saying.
Oh, man.
And how honestly, he reacts and looks at things.
And the thing is, for me, the two scenes in this movie that are absolutely hilarious is when the cops shoot at him. And he says, I think he used it in the music where he's like,
I did.
He's like, motherfucker, are you
out of your damn mind? Yeah.
There's that. Yeah. And then there's when he finds the secret entrance and they go in. And he does this little head nod where he's like pleased with himself. Where he's like, yeah. Right. And that's the thing is, like, there's all these little gestures that Wesley Snipes makes that just make the character. You know? Like, it just takes it that one step further, so it's very funny. It goes so it's not just like absolutely just a bore, like where it's so heavy all the time, you know. Like also when he shoots the guy to the wall, and he does the whole like fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's just shit like that. It's funny. So I still think anybody should watch Blade. I mean, know that it's a little gory if there's blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and it's a little violent. But beyond that, I still think it's a fucking amazing movie.
One of the things, the trivia on this movie is exceptionally great.
Did you find some good trivia?
Oh yeah, I mean, some of this I had known about. That Jet Li was originally offered Deacon Frost, but decided to do Lethal Weapon 4 instead, which. You do think about how different it would have been. Because,
oh my God, that would have been amazing.
I'll say this. The martial arts would have been far better. No doubt about it. Because it would have been Jet Li and Wesley Snipes, who are both martial artists.
Yeah,
and Jet Li
is not.
But I don't know if Jet Li could have been as much of an asshole in the acting department. Like, I like Jet Li.
No, he would have been, it would have been more reserved because
he would have been far more silent. And I think
English,
the Dorf makes you he really sells how scumbag shitbird this guy is.
Yeah, they leaned into douchey vampire.
Yes.
And he's a douchey vampire. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
It's like,
So do I think that Jet Li would have done that?
No, he wouldn't have. Jet Li wouldn't have played it for douchey vampire, no.
Yeah. That's the thing. So while the fights would have been exceptional, I don't know. And he couldn't have played the Donald Logue character because there's too much comedy in that. So it's like you don't know where Jet Li would have gone, and it would have been a much different feeling movie. And so I kind of like Dorf being in it, even though I don't think Dorf had any martial arts ability. He makes you really hate that character. And the other thing is, which,
by the way, that's credit to him too. I mean, like, he sells that character as a douche.
No, he's very good. I like Stephen Dorff. Stephen Dorff pops up in things. I always like him. I always like him when I see him. So originally, the only 3 actors who were in consideration were Snipes, Denzel Washington, and Lawrence Fishburne. But Goyer, who wrote the movie, said to play Blade. But Goyer said the only one that made sense to him was Snipes. Now, I don't know if he knew about his martial arts ability. Maybe there was stuff in there.
Honestly, I couldn't. If you'd put one of those 2 actors, of the other 2s in there in that role, it would have been a very different kind of movie.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I wonder what it would have been like. I just can't see that, like the scene with the fist pump. Would either of them have done that?
Okay.
I don't think so.
I would, but I don't know about Denzel Washington, but in defense of
Fishburne, I can see.
Fishburne.
Yeah.
Morpheus could have done it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I have to remember. I was like, he was fucking Morpheus, man. Like, but it's a role that Wesley Snipes so fully occupies that I just can't see anybody else being in it. And the new people that they are trying to do, they're going to be such completely different movies. So it's like, okay, well, we'll see what they do with it. I just know that whatever Marvel does with it today, it's not going to be possible to do it the way they did it for this. It's just not going to be the same kind of animal at all. Yeah.
And like I said, Goyer said he wrote it with Snipes in mind. So you wonder what that would have looked like if it would have been changed. I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, but it holds up so well. And it really is, because this movie came out 2 years after Batman and Robin, which many people said was going to kill the comic book movie concept. And then this movie comes out and it's the polar opposite.
Because it's not a comic book movie, and I think that's what it is. This is not a comic book movie. This is like
I agree.
A detective horror movie.
Yeah.
Which is what those horror comics that they like. Blade was part of that horror Marvel universe. Like Werewolf by Night, like stuff like that. That was really interesting because it was almost like it was on the edge of Marvel. Like in the comics, Blade did not run into a lot of other people in his comics. Mostly Ghost Rider, trying to think
and Morbius.
Yeah, Morbius, shit like that, right? That makes sense. But I mean, he didn't really bump into a ton of people, and
no, it was really Ghost Rider.
It was all the horror characters that he bumped into. Yeah. So it's not a comic book movie. It's a great movie. It's not a comic book movie. But it is your favorite Marvel comic book movie.
Absolutely, without even a doubt. Yeah,
That's funny. Yeah.
I still say this is my favorite Marvel movie, and a lot of it is just because it doesn't have any connection to anything else. It's just by itself. There was no version of this that was ever conceived. The only thing they were possibly going to set up was Morbius for a sequel.
Yeah.
That was the original idea, and that was shot. There is footage of that you can find where the woman, Karen, sees Morbius standing on a rooftop, and they've confirmed that was supposed to be Morbius, and they cut it, so it's not even in the movie. In the movie, he just goes to Russia and is hunting vampires, and it's fine. That's all he knows. He's still doing what he does.
And that's good because it gives you the sense of, hey, he's still out there fucking shit up,
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You're like, yeah, good. I want him to be out there fucking shit up. Good job, Blade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, you get the sense that it's a never-ending war for him at this point.
Yeah, it would be because there's no... Yeah, unlike a lot of other movies, they don't do the whole thing where if you kill... I don't know, if Dracula's the first one, all the other ones die. They never establish any of that. These things just keep going.
No, it's a sexually transmitted disease. I love
Yeah.
that she calls it that even, yeah. It's a sexually
the other thing,
transmitted
too, is
disease.
You don't even really know how much he ages. Is he ageless?
Oh, yeah, because she says that he can age. He ages much more slowly. But not like
because,
them.
because Whistler says he found him when he was younger. So, but you don't know how much slower he is compared to vampires who do seem to be immortal. The other ones seem to be immortal, as far as you can tell.
Yeah.
But, like I said, it's a great movie. There's not much we'll say that somebody else hasn't said.
No, and we watched it. It's still great.
Mm-hmm.
We might watch some other Wesley Snipes movies just because we talked about it. But Blade is still a fucking awesome movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing one bit of trivia I also like that I learned it, I think, probably, I think I saw an interview where somebody, so the ice skating uphill, that's Wesley Snipes' line. He came up with that when he read, he said, this is Deacon Frost.
Are always trying to ice skate.
Yeah, he said when he read that character, he's like, oh, this is one of those assholes you see always trying to ice skate uphill. And they were like, holy shit, we're putting that in there. And that's where it comes from. So that came from Snipes. So,
that's fucking awesome.
Great movie. Holds up really well.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel...
The only bad part about it is the CG, unfortunately, at the very end with Deacon Frost. The CG is...
some of the blood sequences.
Oh, they really should fix that. They can fix that stuff really easily. They should fix that.
They don't need to.
Because it looks... They should. It's a good enough movie that it's literally just that one sequence. If they just fix that, the rest of it's fine. I don't have a problem with the rest of it. That one sequence with the blood where he reforms is pretty bad.
I know.
It sticks out in a movie that otherwise we were talking about looks beautiful. It's well shot. Yeah. It's using color specifically. There's really good cinematography.
Oh yeah, the blue filter. The blue filter and all of it. Like it just gives
all that stuff is really good. And then you get to the CG blood where it drips, which looks ridiculous. That blood thing it looks silly.
Well, you're familiar with the blood god.
yeah, the blood god is very CG. Yikes. But other than that, it doesn't matter. It's still a great movie. So, yeah.
And it's one of the movies I saw opening night when that came out.
What a great movie.
Waited online for that motherfucker.
And worth it.
Yeah.
Out of your damn mind?
Just give me the S.
Yeah, stop. Don't replay it. I tried to get it in the right spot. Anyway.
Well, that was the only... I'll call it our easy movie that we watched because we knew it was going to be good.
Yeah. There's nothing... outside of us still loving it, there's not much for us to say about it. It's just true.
I didn't have any kind of great new revelation. I mean, other than the fact that I think that movie is Wesley Snipes at his best. He looks great. He's not overly jacked, but he is jacked. He's just
that and Demolition Man are my favorite Snipes films. As far as his,
at his peak.
No, Rising Sun is good, but Rising Sun, I have to be in the mood to watch Rising Sun. I like it, but whereas I can throw Demolition Man on anytime, I can throw Blade on anytime. and they're just a blast.
Yeah.
Rising Sun, I have to want to watch Rising Sun because, there's quieter moments in that, whereas Demolition Man is just full throttle nonsense.
Yeah, and Blade does not...
Blade is just fucking awesome.
Yeah, that movie does not take time. I mean, you're just in it.
There's like 2 scenes where it's slow, which is where he's sitting in the chair staring for about 30 seconds, and when he cuts the plant. That's the slowest bits of the whole thing.
Actually, now that you mention that is probably the one revelation I had about this movie, which is that there are moments where you look at Blade and you go, wow, man, what kind of existence must you have? Because, it's, like, you...
It's the Batman problem.
Yeah, you get
what does
more
Bruce
of a
Wayne do
sense...
when he's not Batman?
You get more of a sense of his disturbance.
Yeah. The difference between, like, Bruce Wayne has to exist so that Batman has a cover.
Yeah.
Blade needs no such bullshit. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, so it's
because
like,
he's just, his whole existence is wiping out these things.
Let's just keep going. I'm upset. Well, you know what? I'm going to go out and find me some vampires. Go kill, 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 kill. Yeah, like, I mean... So that one scene where he's sitting there and he's upset and you're looking at him and, like, it's almost like he isn't even really sure what to do with his emotions. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I understand that there's a ton of territory you can go with this character. Absolutely. But this movie hints at so much of it so well. Without having to go there. It just did such a great job of just being like, what if this and what if that? And like, Blade's going to have a temper tantrum over here now. And,
Right. That's great.
You know what? If people want us to watch certain movies that we haven't talked about before, even if like they're movies that we definitely would have seen, but you want some kind of commentary, because we did do a commentary for Blade.
Yeah.
Let Joe know. Let Joe know.
You're going to be waiting a little while. I'll just warn you, but,
No, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, and then, the commentary won't come out for years. But,
well,
that's how
you know what? Something like that, I could probably release them in one-off things. Like if there's a specific movie.
If somebody requested.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's going to...
You know what?
The more these we watch, it's going to go into 2030, 2040, we'll be dead when some of these come out.
That's true. If you go out of the way to actually request a movie, then yes, Joe will try and push them out more quickly. I guess, right? Yeah.
No, I can release them whenever I want. So sure. Yeah. If there's an audience request one, then I'll put it out earlier. Sure. I don't care.
There you go.
Because like I said, I'm halfway through 2028 now. And that's releasing 2 a month. Not 1, 2. The first and last day of the month. And I'm 26, 27, really 3 years out. We just started 26.
But it works, because if in the near future my time becomes less manageable,
I'm fine with it. But what I'm saying is,
you still have have stuff backed up.
Yeah. But I think one of them I was saying, by the time this comes out, who knows, blah 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 will happen. So,
will anything be here? Okay.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, our commentaries may outlive Patreon. Who knows? In the tech world, shit blows over fast.
Oh yeah.
So who knows?
That's probably far more possible.
Well, luckily, I have copies of every single one locally and in the cloud in my backup. They're not going nowhere. I got them. I do not rely on Patreon as a storage.
You ain't going.
You ain't going nowhere.
Really quickly, I know that we're in the movie section, but I want to just mention this really quickly.
Sure.
So I recently had to change my phone. Not because I did anything wrong, for fucking once. But I was handing my device off to one of my children. So I upgraded my phone, and that's not the interesting part of this. The interesting part is that I went to the Apple Store, and I was waiting online. And I do this thing when I have to wait online at these stores. I'm usually wearing like a leather jacket or a hoodie or something like that. And when I feel like I've been in the line for too long, I usually take off my jacket At which point, I always get attention very quickly. It's very funny. Like, my wife is like, "That's because you're fucking scary," and I'm like, "I don't feel like I'm scary. I don't think I sound like I'm scary, but I am a large male, heavily tattooed. It draws attention." So immediately, 2 Apple employees came over and started talking to me, ignoring the 2 people that were in front of me in the line, not talking to me like doing business with me, but just chatting with me, asking me why I was there today, what I was doing. And at one point I was like, these people were in front of me. They like talked to them for 2 seconds and then quickly went back to talking to me. And I was like, Jesus, do you guys think I'm going to kill somebody? But either way, we were talking about essentially data. And the one guy who told me that he's in his early 50s was saying that he doesn't bother keeping backups of data anymore. He's too lazy, and he just does everything in the cloud. He pays for cloud storage. He's got everything in the cloud. Everything gets pushed to his devices, and he no longer gives a shit. He goes, "I'm just lazy," and realized that I wasn't going to keep up with it, so I don't care. And I was kind of like, interesting from an Apple employee, like that was their take on it. And I talked to some other people I was there, and that seemed to be the kind of general consensus of, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to put it in the cloud. And it was like, oh, okay. But I mean, but, you know, what if it goes wrong? What if you lose all your stuff? And they're like, I won't lose all my stuff. It'll be fine. And I was just curious. Like, I just remember that now. Like, you know, what is your take on that? Is that how you see people behaving?
Well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah. It's when you say, hold on, before I forget.
200 hours later.
Yeah, baby.
Are you specifically talking about people's relationship with their phones or with like digital devices in general?
With their data, with the stuff that's important to them. Because we were talking about, because at one point I also was getting a phone that was a terabyte, and the guy was like, "Oh, a terabyte? You know, why do you need a terabyte? Just put everything in the cloud." And I was like, "No, I actually like to have a lot of stuff on my phone that I have access to. You know, my data is important. So I like to keep it backed up in various places, whereas these people don't have backups. It's the cloud or nothing."
Well, okay. The actually, there's a couple of aspects to that. So I think most people, yes, they rely on the cloud, and that's what they think of as their storage, which of course it's not your storage. That's nonsense. Now, I wouldn't say that the phone is your storage either. What is your storage?
No. My phone is not my storage. My phone is where the shit ends up. It's at the fringe of my fucking, you know, a network.
But I'm saying most people think their phone is their storage. Yeah, that's not most people. That's what this is. No.
Jesus Christ.
No. Most people either just leave it on their phone and don't even consider the possibility their phone could ever break.
Yeah.
Or they're using cloud, iCloud, or whatever, Google Photos, probably if you're on Android. Or whatever. And that's something that now they're right that would probably never break, but if you lose access to it, you might not get it back. There's been multiple, every 4 or 5 years or so, there is a story that goes around about either Google or Apple cutting somebody off for a incorrect reason from their services. And the only reason those people generally get their stuff back is because they are in the media or they get a lot of attention to make the companies look bad, and then it gets restored. That discounts lots of people who never get their access back. And there's a lot of those stories too, where people just lose stuff.
Yeah.
So, no, most people, look, the rule is, if it doesn't exist in 3 places, it doesn't exist. Period.
And
that's the rule.
That's what I said.
Yeah. But most people, it doesn't even exist in 2 places, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So most people have a single point of failure for what they say they value the most, which is ludicrous. Crazy. But so at the very least, what I try to do with most people is say, well, get some whatever your phone is, turn on its in whatever backup it natively uses. If that's because most people, they value photos. So let's just say for photos. So if you're on Android, turn on the Google Photos backup, pay for it. If you're on Apple, turn on the iCloud thing. Now, is that the end of it? It shouldn't be, but most people, if you just at least do that, you're in a better position than people who don't even think about it. Most people don't think about it.
So you would use it then?
No, I would make somebody who's not me use it because it's better than nothing.
So okay. So you're saying better than nothing. Got it.
Yeah, because my mother, perfect example, my mother routinely loses her phone for about an hour or two before she finds it. But if she were to leave it somewhere, she would not want to lose the photos of my sister's kids. And at least now I could say, turn your Mac on, they're in iCloud, they're right there. So at least she would know so the phone's gone, they're not just stuck on the phone. That's why I got the iCloud thing for her. No, I don't. I have iCloud on, but I also back any photos I have are on a hard drive.
Yeah.
That is separate from my main machine. It's not. Here's another thing.
Drives. Yeah.
Well, no, more than you think. Not only is it on a hard drive that is outside the computer, it's on a hard drive that's separate from the system drive inside the computer. So I actually I just got a second drive. I just got a little dock for my Mac Mini that has a SSD built into the bottom of it. It should be here tomorrow, actually. I have the drive, but I need the dock. So that one will then back up to that SSD that I could literally pop out of that dock and plug into anything, and to a Western Digital drive that's attached by USB cable.
I do adore the Batman-ness of some of this stuff that you get up to. I really do.
There have been these weird times, because a lot of my stuff is visual art. There's been weird times where people have asked me, like Len, perfect example. Len, I created an opening intro for one of the videos. And he's like, let's start using that, because he's like, no, we should really use the one you did where it's like both the names. And I had to go look for it. And I hadn't looked at it in however long, but I knew I had it because I just had to look, so I knew it was secure. Whereas if it had been on, say, one of my old laptops that I didn't have anymore, it's gone. So I know it's there. And this is the thing, is people, if you actually value whatever these files are, whatever they are, if they are actually important to you, then you need to treat them like they're important to you.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying is local, I would say at least 2 locals in a cloud, because it is possible. I don't rule out the cloud, because what if you have a house fire?
Oh, yeah.
If you have a house fire and your drives melt, if it's in iCloud or in Google Photos, at least it's there.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is you have a house fire and your accounts get locked and then you're completely fucked. But I haven't read of a lot of those cases where it's been that catastrophically.
That
like when asteroids coming, it's like, well, you have bigger problems. But that's rare. Whereas one side or the other is very common. Computer dies. Oh, I never backed them up. Well, bye. Yeah. Like house fire. Or on the other side, for some reason, Apple locked my account because they suspected of fraud because somebody was trying to hack into my thing and they sealed everything. Well, if it's on a hard drive, then Apple can go screw, because you're fine. They're on a drive. Yeah. So if iCloud's locked up, what do you care? Yeah, that's one of the things is my phone, my actual physical phone, has very few photos on it that are persistent. I take them off. I don't like having a lot of stuff on this phone because that's a bad complacency to start getting into. So my phone's memory is, let's see, how much
I have a ton of photos on my phone, but I also have them all backed up in various places. It's that I find that when I've just found that when I get annoyed with the world, or when I'm feeling crap, looking at pictures of my kids and looking at things that we've done, it makes me feel better about the world. It gives me the pep to kind of like, okay, let's keep going. It's cool. But
storage. Let's see. 74 gigs used of 256. See, I don't even need that much space on my phone because that's how little I use. That's not a nice part. I have to play for a terabyte drive. And of that 74, by the way, 49 is apps. Images is 673, and most of those images, by the way, are artwork. So if I lost those, I have the artwork.
I've got
I don't give a
artwork.
fuck.
I've got artwork as well, but yeah, I've got a lot.
Well, what I mean is my artwork. So if I
Yeah.
lose a picture of a painting, I have the painting. It's okay. I'm fine. That's mostly because my mom's like, send me what you painted. So I take pictures. And pizza. When I make pizza, I take pictures of it because people are amused by the fact that I make pizza all the time. So I post, Sunday pizza. That's it. That's what my photos are. I have a couple of my dog, but those are backed up. All the ones of my wife, like from our wedding, are in like 8 spots. I have those everywhere. I have like 2 drives full of like core photos, which is really my wedding and like my dad and stuff like that. That's all on like 5 drives. I've got so many. I've got within 10 feet of me, I have 12 drives.
Wow.
Because they're so cheap, and why not?
I have far more.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to ask that question because it came up, and I was like, oh shit, I should ask Joe about this. It's like because I don't mix. I don't mix to some degree. Well, I don't mix like many people, so I don't get a good sense of what the fuck's going on.
I mean, I have a sense of it from being tech support for my family.
And this is this is a guy who's older than me, so I don't even have the whole. It's a young thing. No, this is a guy who's older than me and
no.
just doesn't give a shit.
Let me tell you something. There really is. There is no legitimate excuse to not have it in 2 locations. Let's talk, any digital device, as long as it has an internet connection.
Yeah.
You should be using some kind of cloud backup, and maybe not the native one. Like with a computer, I wouldn't be. On my desktop, I don't use the native things. I use Carbonite, which is a third-party cloud one. I want that independent of my login accounts, so that if Apple or Microsoft were to somehow kill my logins, it doesn't matter.
Here's a question: does the rule still stand that if your email is in, so if like your Gmail is in your Gmail account for more than 3 years, the government can easily look at it?
Okay, the government can look at anything from any time that anybody stores.
I know that, but what I'm saying, wasn't there a rule on the books where like they didn't have to tell you if they were doing that?
They never had to tell you. This idea that they had to notify you, ever since
it's always been fucked. Don't even bother thinking about it.
No. I really think where a lot of it came from was the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act enabled a lot more secrecy, where they do not. In fact, many of these companies explicitly cannot tell you, even if they want to. They are legally forbidden.
Interesting.
And that's what they're going to do. Every single warrant that they're going to do is going to be under one of these rules. Why would they ever not use them? So they're always going to say, it's a threat to national security. Yeah, once they have it, they're always going to use it. Okay. Anything that's connected to the cloud, the government's going to get to. Period.
Right.
Now, there are some exceptions. For example, like... so
does deleting it even matter anymore?
Not really.
So it's basically don't fucking send anything at this point.
I would simply assume, because there's no reason not to, and there's been no evidence to contradict, and in fact there has been every indication that there is, that they are basically sucking up every bit of data they can into massive amounts of troves.
Into these giant databases.
Yeah, they're just vacuuming it up. So even if you delete it, they'll capture it while it's active. If it passes through Google's server, I just have to assume, because of things that have come out and just knowing how things work, that they are under some kind of orders to keep copies of them or to at least allow access to them. Not to mention, I mean, if it's connected to the internet, you might as well assume there's a copy of it somewhere other than where you have it. The problem is you can't access it if you need it necessarily. But there are exceptions, like there are VPN providers who do not, they run everything in RAM, and they periodically reboot those virtual machines, and so that wipes it out, and they legally cannot provide it because they don't have access to it. Now, the other side of that, and why it wouldn't work for like email, is once they reboot that, you don't have the email either, so it would wipe out your stuff. So that's you end up balancing these things. Anything that you really need persistent access to, make sure it is not in the cloud anywhere. You need it on a drive. You need it somewhere physically. That's why a lot of people say every so often, I don't know that Apple has a equivalent of this, but Google has something called Google Takeout, and you can download every single thing Google has of yours. And a lot of people say you should do that annually. Some people do it more often, some people do it less often. I have 5 Gmail accounts, so honestly, they'd have to nuke them all for me to care, because I could redirect things in 2 seconds. I have 3 publicly available ones and 2 that are unpublicly available. So I'm not concerned. Most people don't have 5 email addresses either. So.
You know what? Hold on. I have 4.
There you go.
I just realized that. I have 4. And the other day I was thinking about it. I was like, why do I have 4? And I'm like, you know what? I think it just kind of happened.
Yeah, it does.
So.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
So
I totally derailed this. We were going to talk about some bad movies.
No, it's always a good periodic reminder for people that, again, the 3-location rule is a good rule. And for me, I would say 2 local, 1 cloud is a good mix. And ideally, it would be 2 local, 2 cloud, and one of the clouds would not be a native provider. Meaning, if you're an Apple, it's not Apple.
Yeah.
But that also means you have to pay for it, and you got to have it set up, and you got to have the stuff running, and a lot of people aren't going to ever do that. And a lot of people don't know how to do it. So
no, I mean, and what it comes down to is this guy's response. He was like, you know what? I'm lazy. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. At the very least, what I would tell most people is if you have somebody in your life who is using a device and you know that they don't have the drive or knowledge, at least turn on the cloud backup of their device so that if they lose their phone, in theory, they'd still have access to their photos, because that's what most people seem to care about.
Yeah.
They care so much about these 5,000 photos that they never look at all that often, or most of them that they don't.
Yeah.
But if they lose them, they're going to flip out.
And I do look at them. I do look at them quite a bit. And that's the thing that a lot of people say to me. It's like, well, do you look at them? And I'm like, yeah, I look at them all the time.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that brings me, it's my zen. You know, it's what brings me peace.
But even people who don't really care about them, which I find funny, but that's what they say. So, yeah.
They want to know, they have access.
And honestly, a lot of these things too, especially for photos, are dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I think the iCloud thing starts at $2 a month, man. If you can't pony up $2 a month.
No, I just don't want to. Yeah.
No, I understand. What I'm saying is for the average person.
Okay.
Like if you have a parent and I pay for my mother's. I don't care. It's $2.
My mother doesn't have shit on her phone, nor does she give a shit what's about her phone.
My mother takes every picture of all of my sisters all the time with her phone. She takes pictures all the time. And I'm like, okay, fine. $2 a month, whatever. And that way, if she loses her phone and she ever actually does lose it, or whatever, breaks it.
Yeah.
I know it all. And that also.
I'll tell you what's interesting now is trying to explain to my kids, like, you know, good computer, good device use is a new thing for me. Trying to explain to them, like, well, you don't do this, yes, do that. Like, yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't get less complicated as you get older.
Yeah, digital hygiene habits are the
digital
same type
hygiene,
of difficulty.
That's what the phrase was. Yeah, digital hygiene.
But the other thing that I think for a lot of people would be a benefit, and the other reason that I like iCloud, and iCloud is very easy, and Google I think lets you do it too, is like my mother-in-law got a new iPhone because her other one was having a bunch of problems. It was old, so it was, and literally all I had to do. Because she was like, oh, how long is it going to take for everything to come back? And I'm like, it's not going to take any time. I said, here, log into this, iCloud. I said, all right, let's sit there for an hour. Bang, everything was back.
Yeah, I mean...
That's a lot better than it used to be, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Let's just, for a moment, remember how long it used to take to reformat a computer.
Oh, fuck, it was a whole day for me.
On operating system.
I would set aside the whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole day.
Especially Windows, because you'd have to do all the updates, reboot, more updates, reboot. Okay, now all these software.
Forever.
Drivers. Remember drivers?
Oh,
you had to get all the drivers, and you had to get the right drivers. Oh, yeah.
And if you're lucky, you had them all ready to kind of load. But if you weren't lucky...
But even then, you had to see if there were updated ones because you might want the update. It was a mess. It was a whole day. I mean, I used to kind of enjoy it. I would read. I would be reading while it was doing it. I'd just sit back and I just watch the bar every so often and read comics or whatever. It was fun.
Loading.
But now, I mean, it's nothing, especially on a phone, like I said, especially the iPhone is so easy. Just sign in, it's done. Yeah. So, yeah. It's much different. It's a completely different thing.
Well, there you go. So,
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice, you know.
that's
Back
the
to
first.
movies.
We had to restart it.
Yeah, we had to restart.
So you found this movie.
We're talking about Bloody New Year, right?
Well, yeah, we're going in order, right? Aren't we?
No, I figured. So yes, I had an idea that we were going to do 2 New Year's films. I found 3, and I figured we'll pick 2 and we'll do 2. As it turned out, we didn't do that for reasons that I'll explain. So the one I told you to watch one movie, and you said it's not in the box. I later figured out it was in the box, but I didn't put it in the right folder. So it was invisible to you, but I had actually uploaded it. So we were originally going to watch New Year's Evil, and then since I put it in the wrong folder, Lando couldn't see it. So the only movie that was visible to him was 1987's Bloody New Year,
Which
I
weird
had read
flick.
was a weird movie. Yes, the time travel element specifically, time travel horror. I was like, oh, okay, British time travel horror.
Folk horror.
Well, that's not what I read, but that's what we found out it was. That's what I'm saying is, but the idea that it was a British horror film with time travel elements, I went, okay, that sounds fun. So that's why I picked it. And all these movies, the 3 movies, which was New Year's Evil, Bloody New Year, and Terror Train, all basically have a 5 on IMDb. So they're all like mid-range, which was also kind of remarkable. That all the movies have a similar score. So I was like, oh, okay, that's good. And didn't know anything about it besides the basic synopsis of it. And really not even that. I just knew the opening was some kids get bullied at a carnival and go to an island and time travel hijinks ensue. Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Which is accurate. That's what happens.
Yeah, oh no, that is technically true.
Yeah, it's technically true. So it's a movie where we have a group of youths who end up hooking up with a American woman who just happens to be at the same carnival, or fun fair, as they say, as they are, where some hooligans try to, I don't know, beat them up, rape them, kill them, I don't know, whatever they were trying to do, mess with them. And they give these hooligans the slip, get into a boat, go to an island.
But I just want to note, they do give them the slip, but did they take that the switch with them? Or did they get rid of it? The fuse.
Oh, no, they got rid of it. He threw it away at one point.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, he threw it away. Yeah, did not take it with him.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is that the one guy unplugs the ride that the carnies are heckling the one girl on.
Yes.
But then they proceed to like run away with the fuse, which makes them chase them. And I was kind of like, well, why did you take the fuse? Like, it is kind of interesting setup for them morally, where they kind of set them up as not
well, you
bad.
figured out earlier than I did that the carnival ride guy was involved. I thought he was just randomly there, but then you find out they're all... So I think you're supposed to know that right away, and that's why they took the fuse to fuck with that guy, because he was part of it. So they're playing keep away with the fuse. But then there's a point where they're like, oh, hey, no, we just have to leave. We have to get out of here. And so they get on this boat that they were trailing, or not trailing, what's the word for it?
Which seems like a small boat to have that many people on, but either way.
Yeah, definitely. And sure enough, they hit rocks and the boat sinks, and they come up on the shore of this hotel that we had seen in an opening where this woman gets pulled through a mirror. And we don't really know what's going on, but that mirror, I was like, okay, well, the mirror is going to have something to do with it.
And it was it was a happy New Year's party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was one woman left behind, and she looked into a mirror, and a hand came out of the mirror, grabbed her, and pulled her through. Then we cut to however many years later, because that's the 50s, I think. Now we're in the 80s.
No, it's 59 going into 60 because it's New Year's party.
That's right, yes, 59 going to 60, right, 59. Then we come to the present. These kids get there. They get to this hotel that seems abandoned the night of the New Year's Eve party, which, of course, we know why. They don't. And they're kind of romping around inside the hotel.
And everything is oddly preserved,
Everything's oddly preserved. They see a maid who seems to be a benevolent spirit. There's never an indication that the maid is evil.
Only one of them, the American girl sees the maid, though.
Right, but I mean, they start all seeing things, either reflections. Oh yeah,
they see people in the reflections of the mirrors.
Yeah, they find the clothing. They put on some of the clothing.
Disappear. Yeah, I mean, honestly, part of this.
It's a haunted house.
Yeah, but the fact they stay. I mean, what What you realize afterwards is that there's really no getting away. I mean, once shit goes off, it's kind of like, okay, well, you're not there. There's nowhere to run, which is the folk horror aspect of this. It's like, where do you go when everything gets truly fucking weird?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, had they jumped into a motorboat and taken off, would they have made it? Hard to say, because the motor on the boat has been removed, as we'll see later when somebody's head is introduced to it. So if they'd had the motor, could they have outrun the ghosts? Maybe, because they do defeat some of them. They do seem to be harmable. Like, the ghosts do seem to have vulnerability. But
yeah.
In essence, you're correct that this seems to be a Shining situation where anybody who shows up here is eventually going to become part of the hotel's spirit side. There appears to be a cyclical period of time where the ghosts are in force, and then they seem to go back. They seem
get angry. They have, like, temper tantrums.
Yeah, well, it seems like when the flux happens, this is my headcanon, it's never really specified, but it seems like when they're pushed into the real world, they're rotting, they're in pain, they're miserable. When they go back into the other side, they appear to be having a good time, so they're trapped in that time loop. And so, the movie's very vague, whether intentionally or not, of course, who knows, but it leaves a lot to you to try to assign meaning to. Because I sort of was thinking about the party at the end. And is it that the ghosts just want more people to be in the party? And they're just trying to make the party bigger and bigger and bigger?
The other thing to remember, too, so as they're walking around exploring the island, there's a video broadcast that's going on. That's the video it's a TV broadcast that was from that time period that's about essentially a Philadelphia experiment type thing that was going on in a plane. And the plane crashed on the island. Right. And when it crashed on the island, it created this effect that essentially messed with time and light and the movement of time, and they're all trapped in kind of this moment. And now what you were saying is getting back to at the end of the movie. So spoilers, nobody makes it off the island, which is very it was upsetting to me. It was upsetting to you too, because we really wanted the girl, at least the American girl, to make it.
Well, we just come off of Uninvited, where the two people we liked made it. They made it.
Yes. Yeah.
They got away from Monster Cat.
So we were hoping that they were going to make it. And I kept worrying that this was like, the movie The Grudge, where it's like, no, there's nowhere you can go. Like, there is no safe. And there is no safe. She didn't get far. I think that if you got far enough away from the island, you would be. But she couldn't get far enough away from the island to get away from the effect, so she got sucked in. But at the end of the movie, they're all together again, and they're in that party that you see in the beginning of the movie. They're on like a conga line, and it's New Year's 1959 going into 60, and all the people who died on the island are there. And you noted that they were happy, and they were having a good time. And then it shows that, but then it goes to the shot of the one girl, and she's trapped in the mirror, but there's also a part of her that's there happy. So it's kind of a weird thing, because it's like, because it's so, they tell you what started this, but you don't really get a full understanding of what is occurring. And this is one of those movies where it's like, hey, listen, what you don't know, what isn't explained to you, is far more interesting, because now you're sitting there trying to figure out your own headcanon, right? So, it could be a horrible existence. Or it could be an interesting existence. I mean, being trapped forever in a happy New Year's party might not be such a bad thing. But when they get tossed out of that state, they seem fairly fucking pissed off. Like, all of them. Right? But then when they go back, they're fairly pleased to be there because, so it's a question of how long do they spend out of that situation? How often do they come out? How long are they out of it? And why are there physical objects that are affected? So, like, at one point, the rails of the stairs come alive. It's like, well, is that a person channeling that? Is there another force going on other than just the people? At one point, a table becomes a person and almost drags somebody into it. Like, I mean, literally, at one point, the ground opens up and almost eats somebody. At the end, when the girl's trying to get away on the boat, literally the bottom of the boat opens and she's sucked into an alternate realm. Like, it's so you are not really given an explanation, so you don't know what the full effect of this is and whether it is truly a horrible thing or not. But nobody makes it.
The way I would, if I was remaking this, and this is a movie I would be interested to see a remake of, because I think it has enough problems you could remake it. If it was me, and I was saying, okay, what do I want to tweak with this story without changing much? What I would make it, because, as you said, the plane crashes, and and there's a disruption to space-time, reality, whatever, as part of this bending light experiment. So to me, what would make sense with what the movie has given us in here, and kind of give a little bit of more of a logic to it, is that the bubble that they're trapped in, as long as that bubble is not disrupted, they're having fun in a party forever. But when other people come to the island, they disrupt the integrity of the bubble, which forces them into the real world, and they start to degrade and they start to rot because the time discrepancy is starting to harm them. And so they get angry when anybody shows up because it's fucking with their good time. So they pull them over to restore the integrity of the bubble, and now everybody's having fun again. That would line up with most of what we see and explain why they're angry in the real world but happy in the other world.
No, that seems like a perfectly adequate explanation for the details that we've been given.
Except for, as you said, the banister thing, which I don't have an explanation for. So the only thing I wonder is if that's supposed to be, as you said, like a table becomes a person. Well, that looked to me like the person was forming out of the table, but it was a spirit from the other side coming through the table as the membrane to the real world. And they did it wrong and they're stuck in a table. So is it that somebody was literally hand puppeting, like one of the ghosts was hand puppeting the little head? I don't know. That's the only thing that's sort of, again, there's some problems. It's not a perfectly crafted film. In fairness, it was made for under $100,000, so clearly, there's some budget limitations. But I think the movie it's got a very specific atmosphere to it. It's got this very interesting feeling where it is kind of this haunted house that, it is almost the time loop idea where everybody, they can't get out. They're trying to figure it out. There's not hard lines on when these things appear or don't appear. People seem to be like they're fine, and then they turn into zombies. You can injure them, but they regenerate. They're, as you said, angry and rotting and monstrous in this world, but then when we see them in the flip side, they look good. So it's like an inverted upside down where, to use Stranger Things parlance, the real world is the bad version and the other side is the good version. So the thing that if it was a less atmospheric film, I wouldn't like it as much. The fact that it does have this odd energy to it, that there is this weird kind of feeling, improves it.
There's like a little bit of the Philadelphia Experiment to it. There's a creepiness to it. There is a haunted ghost-like aspect to it. There is a lot of weird random shit that occurs. I mean, literally, at one point, somebody comes out of a fucking movie.
One thing that's interesting.
And kills a guy.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, it's the inverse of most movies of this type, where in most movies of this type, we understand the results, but we don't get an explanation of the cause. In this, it's the opposite. We have a very clear, specifically outlined, here's how this happened. This caused this. What this is hard to really nail down because we don't have enough details. So in most films, it's the other way around. In most films, they get to a haunted house and you understand the haunting. It's a very clear line of haunting. Okay, phantoms, they do this stuff. And these are the lines. You don't always know why, what caused it. Oh, we might get little bits of data. Sometimes we'll get a clear explanation, but sometimes it's inferred. Like, why is the hotel in The Shining haunted? We don't really ever know. But you understand, once things happen, this is corrupting him. He's gone insane. And these things are influencing him through his alcoholism and his child abuse. We get it. That's what's happening. And Danny, through his psychic powers, is seeing victims. But we don't really know why those victims are there in the first place. We don't have an explanation that says, oh, there was a comet and it sprinkled dust on the hotel, and then all the bad acts of the hotel were retained after that. The Shining is just, the Overlook is just a bad hotel, and we really don't know why. There's never really a clear explanation. But we see the results very clearly. In this, it's the other way around. We get a literal news item talking about the plane, that it's bending reality, and it crashes. That's why this island is in this warped state. The warped state itself has some loose holes in it. Why are the Bannister creatures alive? Why are they appearing angry sometimes and not others?
I agree with you. I think that when they're coming through the reality, I think they're coming through... they can't physically occupy that space, so they have to come through to some degree, like almost tainted by whatever they pass through.
Sure.
You know, and it's rare for them to fully pass through. So, like, and when they do pass through, I don't know. The fact that we're theorizing what it could be means that it was a good movie to watch. You know what I mean? I do like that we're sitting there trying to brainstorm and make sense of what we watched. I didn't hate the movie. Yeah. I hated that nobody made it. But once you said to me the whole thing about how you rewatched the end and you were like, hey, they're all happy at this party, it really did make me think, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking of this movie wrong. Maybe it's that, they are trapped, but at least they're trapped. It's like if you're trapped in the right moment, that might not be such a bad thing.
Right.
It's just what happens when they get kicked out. And like you said, maybe it's the fact that they get pretty fucking pissed off about it.
I think this movie is 90% the way to a good movie. I think a remake, if it just kind of defines what's going on a little bit better, and and there's also points where we don't see what's going on. So when the creature comes out of the table, it gets stabbed, but then we cut to something else and we have no idea what happened after that. So there's things that clearly happen that we don't see. So when that one guy showed back up, we couldn't tell if he was going to become a zombie or not because we really didn't know what happened to him. He appeared to be grabbed by the balls, and then there's a stabbing, and then it cuts.
He's not a zombie. He just seems to go bad.
Right, and that's where there's just enough that can be fixed that I think a remake is warranted. I would want the remake to keep the feeling of this movie. I feel like the feeling is very good, like the kind of atmosphere of it. It's, there's a lot of kind of soft focus, interesting angles, there's good stuff in there. It's just, there's also things missing that are, I don't think intentionally confusing. I think it's a byproduct likely of the budget. That's what I would guess. From what I read, the producers involved were messing with it. The director became very kind of disillusioned. They were just trying to throw something together. And so maybe that's part of the reason why some of these things are cut really weirdly. Maybe they just kind of gave up on it. The acting is not great, but I don't think that's not such a big deal to me. But there's something where you could see an improvement on a remake. So this is a movie I would actually be curious what somebody would do with it if they remade it. I was interested in it. I found it to be an interesting movie.
What's funny is this and the next movie that we watched, this movie made me think of Eyes of Fire, because Eyes of Fire is another movie where it's like there's a folk horror, you don't fully understand what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of interesting effects they used in this movie to express the weird, fucked up reaction of these people, of these haunts. And it reminded me a lot of that movie. Now, Eyes of Fire did it better. But Eyes of Fire also didn't have to deal with the fact that it was happening in what was essentially the modern day. Well, in their case, it's in the 80s. But, you're dealing with a different... a movie like this... you were talking about cell phones. What happens when you've got cell phones? What happens when you've got more modern technology? What happens to these things? But that folk horror, that unexplainable kind of presence, dread thing, it works. And this movie could be a lot better. It's not bad. I'm starting to sound like you. The framework is there for something really interesting. It just needs better writing and more money.
I would be interested, like if Dario Argento had remade this movie, I wonder what it would have looked like. Like you could see where this movie could be made better. So yeah, like you're saying, there's enough in here that I think it's an interesting movie to watch. It's got its defects, but it's not a terrible movie. It definitely has enough that's interesting that I would probably recommend it to most people who are into kind of 80s horror films.
Yes, I would recommend it to those people.
Yeah.
I would not recommend this movie to everybody by far.
No.
I would
say... No,
say...
you have to... If you read the description...
you gotta be in the horror crowd. Yeah.
Right. But it's not a badly made movie. At least... I feel like its problems, from what I've read and based on the budget, are likely because of constraints that were not story related. It sounds like the producers honestly, were just shitting this thing out and didn't put a lot of weight to it.
The only thing, outside of nobody making it, the only thing that really bugged me in this movie was I thought that the pilot there was going to be more to that pilot. There was going to be some kind of answers when they finally talked to that pilot.
Because you thought that the guy that they killed wasn't the pilot. And I'm like, I think it's the pilot. Yeah. It was the pilot.
I kept expecting that to be more. And in the end, they just dropped it. It was like, he shows up. Oh, you killed him. That's it. Like, I was expecting...
Well, there again, the interesting thing there, and the way you could make that more interesting, is I don't even think you need more of him per se, but the way because the thing about the pilot specifically is it doesn't really make sense, because why is he never trapped on the other side? He's always rotting. And the explanation for that is, well, because he was on the aircraft and when it blew up, he was hit with something differently. And so he exists in this kind of half state. So he's watching everything kind of because here's how I write it. Again, this is me. Fitting it to what this movie shows us. The reason that he's just skulking around, but doesn't seem to ever do anything and dies very quickly, is because he's been zombified in every way except that he was the person on the flight that was in charge of recording the results. And so all that's left of his brain is the primal drive to observe the results of the experiment. So he's just watching it and doesn't have anything else going on anymore. Like his brain has been just destroyed.
Listen, that's as much of an explanation as you get in the movie.
You get no explanation in the movie.
Exactly.
You get nothing.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, you're giving me, like, whatever you're giving me is more than what they gave me.
The fact that we're even having this discussion indicates that this movie has something, because it's enough.
The point. The point is that we're having the conversation. Yes.
Right. I do think this movie should be remade. And I don't think you have to do much except improve these little bits. So I'm saying it's 85% there. Obviously, better actors, sure, of course.
You need...
But even I can get away with if they're lesser. I don't really care.
I think it needs...
bad acting go.
Better writing and more money.
Yeah. Better writing, more money, and otherwise you keep most of it. And find another American girl who looks like that, because she's very unusual looking for an 80s movie. She looks like a dancer
really fit.
Or a gymnast. Yeah.
Real fit, and she didn't have some kind of ridiculously oversized chest.
Also, no nudity, right? I don't remember there being any nudity. Yeah, nope. No nudity. Didn't matter. So again, this is what I'm saying is it's missing the cheap shit stuff of the era that you often see, which is just nonsense nudity. It doesn't have a lot of gore. The gore it does have is not particularly well done, but I don't think it needs it. So this could be a well-made movie.
But you know what? That scene when she starts spinning that guy's head off of his body.
Oh, that's great. But there's really no gore to it until the very end where it bursts out, which is great.
But it's so clever the way they did it. It looks good.
Yeah,
I had a fun time with that.
It looks good. No, it looks good.
Yeah.
So. No, but I'm saying it's not, because a lot of these movies, the cheap horror movies of the day, of the 80s, generally the staples that you see in them to offset their weaknesses are lots of boobs, lots of blood. This movie doesn't do that. There's no nudity whatsoever, really.
That's why I always comment. That's one of the things you're going to notice when we do these commentaries. I always comment when there's no nudity. And I do it because it was a staple
that's usually
of the time.
cover. Well, and that's generally how they covered up the problems.
This is a bad movie, more boobs. Yeah.
Right. When they knew they had 10 minutes where there was no story, but they couldn't have it be less than 90 minutes, that's when a woman starts taking her clothes off and going skinny dipping for no earthly reason.
Yeah, and then you're distracted.
Around her.
Yeah. It's like starting a war in Venezuela. That's kind of like what it is, yeah.
Kind of like that. Yeah, exactly. Pointless but distracting if you have nothing else to do. Right. Did not think you were going to tie that Marvin Benson to that movie. Well done. Well done. I mean, that's exceptional.
You know what? I didn't think I was either, but it made sense.
No, you did a great job.
You need a distraction.
Yep.
So
I would want to see this movie remade. But our next movie is a movie I reviewed not all that long ago, but I love it. And it's gotten better for me every time I've watched it.
It is a really good movie. I did enjoy this quite a bit. It's a great movie. I
love this movie. It's from a year later, 1988, and it is titled Dream Demon, which I don't remember. Maybe it's longer than I thought. It's within the last 5 years. I know I reviewed this.
Even the name Dream Demon, I think that it needs a better name than that. Is that the only title this movie had?
As far as I know. When did I review this? I reviewed this in
Years
2022.
Ago.
Okay, 2022.
Yeah.
Let me see. Actually, I would disagree. I actually think it's a sensationally good title because it's memorable. I think it's I like the title. And it does, to some degree, describe what's happening. Did it have another title? Let's see. It does not appear so. It looks like this was the only title it ever had.
What?
Oh no, well, okay, Trauma Daemon. That's a different language, so I don't know if that's
Trauma Demon. See, honestly,
well, it's not really Trauma Demon, it's Traum Demon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. Yeah, but even Trauma Demon doesn't really work. It's the demon part that bothers me.
So, okay, here's the Spanish. There's let me give you the titles.
Yeah.
So, Dream Demon is the most common one.
Okay.
Then there are several what look like Spanish to me. Descenso a los infiernos, which seems like descent into hell, but I'm surface reading. Confronto como diabo, which seems like confront the devil, I guess.
Confronting the devil or confronting the demon.
Okay.
Remember, Diablo it can be demon.
Well, this is without the L, but I figure it's almost the same word, so it's Diabo, but I figure it's Diablo. Demon, devil, whichever. The Canadian French title is Descente aux Enfers, which looks like, again, descent into hell. The Italian one is the one that's the most different, which I also don't like it, which is La Casa al number 13 in Horror Street, which means the house at number 13 on Horror Street. That's a stupid title.
That's a dumb title.
That's a dumb title. The rest of them seem like they mention El Sueño del Demonio. What is that? Is that the dream of the demon?
No, demonio is like hell, so it's like the hell dream. Hellish dream.
Sueño is dream, right? Because Sogno is dream in Italian, so okay. Yeah. Los Sueños del Demonio, same thing. And the rest are all Dream Demon.
And Sueño de Demonio,
except Germany. Yeah. The German one is Traumdämon. It's all together. Which looks like Trauma Demon to me, but I don't know what this... Oh, hold on, I can put it in translate. What does this actually mean? Does this mean demon trauma? Which would be kind of rad. German to English. Hold on. Enter text. German. It is... No, that is literally Dream Demon in German.
Oh, wow.
Traumdämon is Dream Demon.
Like it. I think I like it more than in... Well, some special things about this movie.
Regardless.
I want to bring up very quickly.
Go for it.
The lead of this movie... for those sci-fi nerds like myself and Joe, the lead of this movie is I forgot her fucking name from
Gemma Redgrave.
Doctor Who. No, I know that. But
Brigadier
Lethbridge Stewart. Yeah. So the lead of this movie is the woman that runs UNIT in Doctor Who now. Lethbridge Stewart. I think it's supposed to be his daughter who runs it. Yeah. So if you've been watching Doctor Who. It's a very different role to see this actress in, because in Doctor Who, she's, the powerful, in charge head of UNIT, whereas in this movie,
you are correct. She is the daughter.
Okay.
Of the original.
Yeah. She is. This was her. So apparently, this was her first movie. So this is an actress at like the beginning of her career, and she's very good in this movie. But it's so different. It's such a different performance of her. Whereas like I'm used to seeing her as like this very strong, defiant woman. Whereas in this movie, she ends up being strong. But through the beginning of the movie, she's very lost and unaware of what to do. And then the other notable thing about this movie, which is that the little girl who we thought was a ghost, but actually turns out to be the young version of one of the other characters in the movie, is the same actress that plays Una in Legend, who has a very striking look. I saw her face and I was like, I've seen this woman before.
You recognize
and she's very
her right
young.
away.
Yeah, she's very young, but it's the same actress who played Una in Legend, which I was like, wow, isn't that kind of a weird... I always love it when you've got multiple people in a movie who then went on to do other very interesting like sci-fi movies, So it's like that little girl went on to do Legend, the other one went on to be Lethbridge Stewart in Doctor Who. So that's very cool.
Incidentally, have you looked at I meant to bring this up to you before we started recording. Have you seen the poster art for this movie? Because there's some really wildly different poster art.
A few of them. Yeah.
Yeah. There's several that I like, which is unusual. I like 3 or 4 of these equally well. I really like the one where it's like her face where she's got the electrodes coming off and she's laying back like asleep. But there's a lot of really good cover art for this. There's 4 that I like, which is the one with the angel, the statue.
Is that the blue one where she's kind of laying back in the clouds with the
yes.
That's a good cover.
I like that one a lot. But I also like the one that looks very 90s Stone Temple Pilots cover, which is the one with the statue over the woman, where...
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah.
That looks like something that would be a Crow alternate cover, whatever. That doesn't even really relate to the movie, but I like it. The one that's illustrated with the hawk-looking guy where she's running up the stairs is really nice. And
honestly, you know what?
The slobby face guy, too, is a really good one. That's a fucked up looking one.
I feel like you could make an argument that this movie is a sleeper Hellraiser universe movie. Because they used a bunch of the sets from Hellraiser. And I thought afterwards I was thinking about this movie and I was like, you know what? What if there was a little bit of that world just barely touching this house that they're in? And that's why it's having and that's why people get trapped in that realm. And the thing is, like, so the one reporter gets trapped in that realm. He's one of these asshole reporters. And in the other realm, he becomes a disgusting version of himself where he's like all over fat and he's constantly eating. And then the other guy becomes, I don't know what the other guy becomes, because the other guy becomes something, but does it really lend itself? Does he become just a paranoid creature? Like, I don't really know. But
yeah, he's the more interesting one to try to, because he seems...
Because very menacing.
The Timothy Spall is a gross, like you see he's talking about sex a lot. He's eating disgustedly. So they make him into essentially gluttony from Seven. That's what they're doing. Yeah. They're doing gluttony. Whereas the other guy doesn't seem as overtly lecherous, but he's more intrusive. So it's almost like he's like a leering thing. It's hard to say.
For those who didn't hear the original review, basically this is a woman who starts having weird hellish dreams, and then her dreams begin to cross over into the real world. And the reason this is a good pairing for Bloody New Year is that there is a point in this movie where there are no longer any boundaries. Her dreams and her reality are beginning to intermingle, and you, the viewer, are not sure anymore whether she is awake or not.
And there's prominent mirror usage too, which is also similar to...
Yeah, they're in different realms. Yeah. Yes, you could make this movie a sleeper Hellraiser movie. Like, this is just something that happened in the same universe very easily.
Right.
And then the co-lead in this movie, who's the name, I can't remember the name of the actress.
Kathleen, I don't know how to pronounce, Wilhoit, I think.
The two of them are such a good pairing.
They're excellent.
And I think when you reviewed this movie, you had said to me that you almost got the sense that they should have been together. And you know what? Like,
yes.
And this isn't... I was thinking about this because I had to explain this to my wife, and I had to do it in a certain way where I didn't come off like a guy that was like, I want the girls to have sex. It wasn't a sex
I just like lesbians, man.
Yeah. The two of them have such amazing chemistry that, like, halfway through the movie, their relationship that they have with each other and the way that they're I wanted them to be a couple. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted those two people to, like, take care of each other forever.
Yeah.
And you said that the director, like, kind of, I don't know, they hinted at that or something like that.
Yes. There was definitely the idea that they were, at least in theory, going to get together after this.
And you do get that vibe.
Yes,
Yeah.
because there's a thing that I started there was another aspect of it that I was thinking about after this watch was these are both people who meet each other as they're in the middle of not direct overt trauma, but they are both unsettled by things going on. On Jenny's side, it's the fact that she knows there's something about this place. She's got missing parts of her background that are bothering her. Diana has this relationship that on the surface seems to be perfect, but it's disturbing. There's something wrong. She doesn't know what it is, but she knows she's supposed to be with this guy, but she's dreaming even before any of this stuff really happens. She's like knocking his head off. He's calling her a slut. There's all this stuff in there. And the house seems to be amplifying it and then mixing it in with Jenny's stuff. And so the two of them find each other in distress and get through that together and end up in better places together. So it just makes sense. Because the other thing is, Diana has no sexual experience. She's a virgin.
Oh, she's a total virgin, yeah.
Jenny has had sexual experience, but the way she talks about it,
it didn't work out well.
It's just kind of like, like she hadn't found the right type of relationship. So it just lines up. And the fact that they become so immediately supportive of each other right away. Like Jenny at first is like, no. I'll help you. I won't leave you alone, but this is in your head. Then she sees something. She's like, nope, it's not in your head. What the fuck is this? Let's find out. It immediately backs her up.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
It is a weird thing. Yeah.
Yes, but it's very organic. It's not overt. It's not hit over the head with you.
No, and I don't want to come off like a gross guy, just being like, I wanted them to get together. It's because they have such incredible chemistry, and like you said, they support each other, and they feel like two people who should be together.
Yes.
And
the fact that there is never a romance scene is why I actually like it better. It makes sense that where they go from here, they go together.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, they're together at the gravesite, and like they're holding each other's arms. Which, don't get me wrong, you could do that without it being anything else, but they don't feel like just friends anymore. And
it still works. To be clear, it still works as friends. You don't have to watch this as a lesbian movie. It still works as friends. It's just that I wanted them, but unlike the Bloody New Year movie, they get through it. I was really worried they weren't gonna, and you were like, and I remember that they did get through it. So I'm very happy that they get through it. And I think you said in the commentary, it's not that the house has been solved; it's that their part in that story is over, and that's why it made me think of Hellraiser, because it was the whole at the end of the Hellraiser remake. It's not that the world of Hellraiser is over. It's that particular girl's time in that world is over. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And in fact, I would almost pair Dream Demon with the remake of Hellraiser.
Oh, sure.
But I thought Dream Demon was a really well done movie. Don't remake it. It's fantastic the way it is, and I almost tell people it goes beyond being a horror movie to me. It is a horror movie at times, but this movie is about trauma and about connection, and like I feel like if you like thrillers in general, you will enjoy this. There are moments that are gory, but they are very brief. When she fucking slaps his head off.
Yeah. It's a hell of a way to start it out, that's for sure.
Oh man, like he smacks her and then she smacks it and his head just explodes. Like I said, there are moments of graphic horror, but they're very brief. And the rest of the movie is so fascinating as you try to figure out where the hell it's going. And this is one of those movies where, Philip K. Dick would have been proud of a movie like this, where you lose your way where the you lose your way not because the movie is bad, but you lose your way in that the movie gets lost in its own world, and you don't know if the main character is going to get through. I mean, I didn't know how it was going to fare. I mean, I was so worried at one point that the co-lead died because of stuff that happened. Now, one thing I do disagree with you, though, about is there are two endings of this movie, right? The ending that we saw is basically that... what is it? They go down to the basement, and that's just the end of it.
Well, the camera just pans down. You hear somebody saying, "Help me."
Yeah, and that's it.
And then it fades. Right. Yeah.
Whereas there's another ending,
which is the director's cut. That's the director's cut.
The theatrical cut. The two reporters fall out of the wall or something like that. They're basically
they come out of the
restored
wall
to life.
and they're back to normal. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't mind that ending. I was thinking about that, and I was kind of thinking the whole idea that, whatever this was kind of using them, and at the end, when their story is over, it doesn't have a need for them anymore, so it kind of spits them out. I don't have a problem.
Right, yeah.
I don't have a problem with that ending. Both endings, I think, work really well. But I know that you said you prefer the director's cut.
Definitely. Yeah. Because the two characters, those two male characters are gross. Well, one of them is very gross, but they're both intrusive. They're both very sexist. They feel like antagonist characters. And I'd rather the movie end with the people I care about, which is the two women. Being together, beating this thing. The house can retain whatever. I don't care about the house anymore.
I think the ending was basically saying, oh, no, she didn't kill them. Like, it was kind of exonerating her of the guilt. Or the viewer of thinking that she had killed them.
Well, she didn't kill them to begin with. We know that. She didn't kill them. The one guy got knocked into the pit by the flaming man.
The flaming guy, yeah.
And we never found out what happened to Hawkman. He just vanishes.
Hawkman.
So, he looks like an eagle.
Yeah, he gets
Sam
sucked
Eagle.
He gets sucked into the world.
Samwise Eagle.
Yeah. I was so waiting for that reporter to find out something about that house and share it with them. But he always just was a dick. Like, he never...
Yes.
Yeah.
No, there apparently was at one point the idea of a private detective, but the problem with that for me is that was going to research the house and I feel like the movie, kind of unlike Bloody New Year, as a good comparison. Yeah. I don't need more of an explanation for what's going on here than what I got.
Yeah.
Which is this, like The Shining. Do I need to know why this house is doing this? No, because the house doesn't matter. What matters is Diana and Jenny, the main characters who are great, who are likable, who end up together. That's all I need. So the house held on to trauma. Fine, whatever. That's a very old concept in haunted house films and haunted locations, is the idea that the terrible events that happen soak in, have psychic reverberations, and then can come back into the world. And Jenny's presence, along with Diana's kind of whatever she was going on with, is what brought it out. It just happened to be in that place. The question is, if Diana had been somewhere else, would she have manifested everything? I say no. I think the house is the important part.
No,
but then once she was doing it,
I definitely think it's once it started, she was part of the mix.
Yeah, because there's a part where we think it's happening in a hotel room, and then we find out, no, she was dreaming that. It doesn't seem to have actually happened, because Jenny's like, no, I'm fine. What are you talking about? I'm here. So that's what I mean about I don't care about anything outside of them. The movie clearly is invested in them. Everything else, we only need the explanation of, well, who's the little girl? We do need that. And the weird doll. Which we do get and that doll,
but the thing is,
which
the
makes
little girl,
no sense in the beginning, makes sense later because the father was a psychotic artist. So of course he made that fucking thing.
But the little girl ends up being the co-lead. It's her when she's younger,
right?
So
and makes sense. That's great because it gives it all a personal connection. It's not just that they randomly ran into a phantasm of a young girl who'd been murdered. Which has happened in other movies, is people end up in a place where a terrible thing happened, even if it's not connected to them and it affects them. I like this better. It's Jenny's, and the clues are there. You can very easily figure that out. I watched it differently this time to see if there were indications, and Jenny says, I can't remember my parents. You could very easily go, well, wait a minute. Is the little girl Jenny and she just has a different hair color? And that's what it is. So it's nice because the movie doesn't overplay the hand, but it also puts it there that you can very clearly, because she says, I know their last address was here. Now we see, like, you start to get the idea that, all right, it's got to be connected to one of these two.
Yeah.
And the more you kind of know about Jenny and see what's going on, the more it makes sense that it would be her. But again, that's as much explanation as I need. Why the house is haunted? Don't care. What happened to those two assholes? Don't care. The cheating fiance? Who cares? I don't give a fuck about any of these other people. All I care about is the two of them. They make it out. They're together. Great. Friends or more, fine.
It doesn't matter. They're great. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And yes, if Kirsty from Hellraiser had shown up in this movie and said, let me tell you, I got some experience with haunted houses, it wouldn't have changed a fucking thing. That would have been...
it would have basically been the same movie.
Actually, she should have been the therapist. And so the reason she helped out women going through tough things is because she had some experience.
Exactly.
That would have been a great little thing for her to be the therapist. The doctor would have been a nice little kind of like, yeah, we know what we're doing here type of thing. But as is... I've seen this movie 4 times. It's gotten better every time I watch it.
It's a fabulously good movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
That one...
Did we hate anything? We didn't hate any of these. We loved Blade.
No. I didn't hate anything. I was sad, but I wasn't... I know,
but we're... Yeah, like, these were all movies that we liked. That's good.
Yeah.
Good when we have that, you know?
What did you watch? Was Creator on a streaming thing, I assume?
I watched it on streaming. Yeah.
Okay, so Bloody New Year is free to watch.
I think you have to. I think you have to rent that. Actually,
that's what I'm looking at.
I don't think we rented it. I think I watched it on always HBO Max. I think.
It's okay. All right. So Bloody New Year is free, so you can watch that on any numerous streaming services. Yeah. No, because I like to do this so that people know what they have to get into here. The documentary it's on Criterion. It's $2 to rent. The Creator is $3.50, and Dream Demon is $4, I think. Hold on, just checking. So everything is either free or under $5. Yeah, $3.99, and it's on AMC if you have that. So any of these movies are well worth whatever you pay for them. Is where I'm going with this. I would recommend that of all these, the one I would, without even thinking about it, say Dream Demon you should see, because I still feel like it's underknown. It's not well known, underknown.
Yeah.
What the fuck is underknown? It's not well known. That's English.
Underknown.
And therefore underappreciated because it should be more well known than it is. It should have a higher profile. Especially if you like stuff like Hellraiser, that type of movie with less gore, because really the gore that's in here is always, where she punches through the guy's head and when she slaps the guy's head off, it is comedy. It's not really all that gross. It's more gross watching that guy eat than any of the actual gore.
Yeah, and the way they focus on it too is what makes it.
Yeah,
terrible.
He's really close up with all these pustules on his face. He's like, it's just gross. Like, so any of these movies are dirt cheap for what you're going to get out of them.
Well, not the Creator.
Bloody New Year, it's free. So,
but there you go.
Yeah, no negatives.
Good things to watch.
All good stuff. And 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Time flies when you're talking shit with your friends.
All right, it's time to talk some shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it when we're not supposed to be podcasting, and then we start podcasting.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh shit, we're podcasting. We should stop.
Yeah.
That happens
all the time. Well, that's the one commentary we were doing for 20 minutes before we actually started recording the fucking commentary.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That's funny. So
anyway,
here we are.
Make sure anything that you care about is in 3 places at least, and watch any of the movies that we talked about. And on that note, everybody, that's it. We'll talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow at Ozone Nightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.